Alright, so this time, unfortunately, there's no category, unfortunately, for Shadows of New York. The closest would be Coteries of New York, I would say, but alas, we're just gonna go with this one for now. It's the first visual novel, actually, that I'm doing of this series. Hopefully it'll be interesting. Welcome to my castle. Don't expect everyday logic to work here. It went out the window sometime after midnight, maybe earlier. My kingdom is not of this world, you see. It lies far outside of concrete, tangible reality. I've tried to identify the way people reach it, and I'm convinced it has something to do with the moon. Some say the moon's aura can turn them insane. You've heard the phrases moonstruck and lunatic. The way I see it, moonlight gives them some subliminal permission to reveal their true selves. And so, whenever they let the silver radiance guide them to the gates of this place, they feel different. Once they pass the doorstep, they're ready to act out. A dance of horrors and marvels begins. It's 3:31 AM. Welcome to Big Beat Burger. If you're here at this hour, you're not exactly readying up to become a productive member of society come tomorrow morning. More likely, you're praying that the sunrise never comes. Insatiable children of the night gather around, hoping to bask in the afterglow of tonight's victories, unwind after a frustrating series of failures, or simply fight to keep themselves together. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there greedily, reveling in every interaction they have. They have no idea they're only here for my amusement. To them, I'm just a random girl, sitting in the corner. But this is my domain. I've been coming here almost every night for years. I know where to sit, where to look, and where to eavesdrop for maximum amusement. I'm basically a voyeur, and unashamed to admit it. It gave me insight about the human condition I'd never otherwise have gathered, and more importantly, a necessary skill set to make ends meet as a journalist. As I write on my crappy old laptop, patiently waiting for the legion of negative voices in my head to get too tired to offer useless feedback, I keep my senses peeled to pick up stories around me. Of course, a lot of regular events such as food fights are nothing to write home about, aside from my unfortunate tendency to become collateral damage in someone else's battles. Up to this day, I've had to wash my clothes because of Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, hot coffee, apple pie, and some sort of improvised honey mustard bomb. Every stain tells a different story. Sometimes this hobby is exhausting. Sometimes it's disturbing. Sometimes it's dangerous. Although not as risky as back when I was carrying pepper spray. Still, the sights I've taken in over the years here have made it absolutely worth it. I've got so many stories. I don't know where to begin. Theatrical breakups, impromptu morning parties, unexpected friendships forged in the fires of senseless battle. A lady in a gorgeous Givenchy dress ordering a box of takeout, chicken nuggets, paying in cash with her hands completely covered in blood. She was asked if she wants a napkin. She said no. Two thirsty macho dudes, shamelessly going for it in a corner, hushed, moaning, filling the lobby while everyone around valiantly fights to act as usual and maintain an illusion of normalcy. A straight-up kung fu fight between a diminutive cashier and some drug bodybuilder going through a psychotic episode, trying to break all the windows. The big guy left the joint fully convinced he KO'd himself, while the service worker was just standing next to him, seemed proud of his victory too. A middle-aged hag getting her heart attack after screaming her lungs out not to let Muslims near her food, just because she saw a white girl wearing her hairnet behind the counter. A masked couple robbing a restaurant of 30 hamburgers, forcing the employees to cook at gunpoint. Police later said those were art students reenacting some hipster book they read. This is life. This is humanity at its worst and best. This is the noise that serves as the foundation for my creativity. This is the soma that keeps me going. This is... As pathetic as it may sound, these days, this is the only place where I feel alive. Sometimes I think of myself as a leech, feeding those people's stories, emotions, and personalities just because I'm satisfied with mine. At times I think of my psyche as some kind of shitty postmodern construct that is fundamentally incapable of honesty, but only yearns for something felt and truthful. Does this even make sense? I look at the screen of my laptop. 3:47 a.m. At this point, I'm almost somnambulic. Excuse me. But nothing interesting has happened yet. Feels like all the customers are watching each other tonight, hoping for the others to provide a fun diversion. This is my turf, you parasitic douchebags. Next time, go find your own. I think it's time to call it a night. The coffee I always order that they don't kick me out is undrinkable. Ugh. I reread the rough draft I've been working on for the last 6 hours. God damn, this is pure trash. Kraken, hey, how are you doing? I'm just having a more relaxed day today. So we're just doing a visual novel. I hold the backspace button until the Google Documents page is nothing but a calm, white slate, and let out a deep sound of relief. Sound of deep relief. There's no pleasure more intoxicating for a frustrated writer than ragging on someone even worse than them. And what target is easier than the dumb bitch you used to be 10 minutes ago? I checked the time again. I need to go. I have an important meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m, and I have a hunch it's not going to end well. And it's not because I'm an irresponsible dumbass who's going to need a few cups of coffee to simply function on a basic level, despite like 4 hours of sleep. It's because I always have a hunch things are not going to be the way they're supposed to. Click clack, click clack. The loud clatter of keyboards assaults me from all sides, making the splitting headache unbearable. Used to be, I dreamed of nothing else but being part of New York. Lodestar? Editorial team. It was the first magazine I started reading regularly. The first magazine I ever bought for myself. Now simply hearing the word Lodestar is enough to ruin my mood. Never mind seeing all those old farts phoning in more reactionary opinion columns and Wikipedia-level analysis of current events. Click-clack, click-clack. They used to destroy and rebuild my entire worldview every month. They shaped my thinking about politics, art, journalism. They even point me towards my favourite cigarette brand, for God's sake. Then some talented people started leaving for greener pastures. Some got too wrapped up in their own neuroses. Some became complacent. All of them commit the sin of allowing themselves to grow older. Fresh blood was deemed unnecessary, even though young freelancers kept being bled dry. These days, whenever someone from outside Lodestar talks about Lodestar, it's because of a few idealistic contributors willing to accept meager pay while putting in serious work. Dumbasses. Other than that, the magazine specializes in publishing pale echoes of provocative ideas I heard somewhere else a few years prior, wrapped in an aesthetic that hasn't been cutting edge for a decade. No wonder the readership is in freefall. But even though the ship is sinking, the old guard won't let it go down without a fight. As in, anyone from the outside attempts to board the vessel in hopes of fixing its course or its holes, they will be swiftly taken care of. I should know. Been there, done that. As it stands, the only full-time staff member who doesn't make me regularly attempt to cringe my face off with his writing. Brian, cough, cough. Is Lodestar's editor-in-chief Brian. Brian Ng. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. The man sitting in front of me right now. Of course, he only has time for editorials these days. A drop in the sea of needs. Managerial duties hit him hard. It's the second time he lets out a theatrical cough like this. He said his piece, now it's up for me to react, and I'm coming up blank. But what do you want me to say, Brian? I'm pissed off. I can tell you've already made up your mind, but you still want me to go through the motions, just to make me feel listened to. Whatever. Let's do this. Brian, the guy is guilty of major fraud. Sexual harasser, Brian. You're protecting a complete piece of shit here. Okay, generally speaking, our view of this guy is not too high. Well, that's just our traits. And our traits is our entire dialogue. And in our dictionary, nothing. Well, that's a shame. I don't even know Brian. He's fraudulous, he's a harasser, or he's just a complete piece of shit. I guess I have to go with that one, because I don't know anything about this guy. That's the sad part. Now look, I know my articles sound like a character in assassination, but that's just because the guy gave me enough ammo to make him look like Swiss cheese once the story goes live. No, sorry, I picked the latter. My sources are legit. Wait, hold on. Every time I click and hold on— no, it's fine now. It just kinda glitched out the first moment I tried. My sources are legit. They provided receipts for everything. They face all kinds of injustices and are crying out for help. So why are you siding with a corporate shithead and not them? Your sources are not the problem here. I never said they were. You're avoiding the core of the issue. Sorry, I can't do like a guy's voice or anything. In fact, to be honest, I can't really do many voices. Barely any. No, I believe I've pinpointed it in a precise way. If it were up to me, I'd greenlight the article here and now. And we wouldn't be having this conversation. But you're killing the article just because some rich shithead told you he doesn't like it. Get real, this is not about some millionaire jerk calling me out to make me an offer I can't refuse. What is it about then? Because it looks awfully like it's about my bosses telling me this outlet can't afford the legal action we already have been threatened with. So millionaire interference. Oh, for crying out loud, Julia, don't make me treat you like a child. You know how this works. I publish your story. It's Thiel versus Gawker all over again. A lawsuit here, a lawsuit there, until we hear blood dry. I have a mortgage, I have 3 mouths waiting to be fed at home, I have an amazing team that doesn't deserve to be torn apart over some— Don't you think it's telling you mentioned— what? Don't you think it's telling you mentioned your mortgage first? Silence. Yeah, it's really rich coming from some corporate-backed games. Yeah. Pretty much, but yeah, it's still using the World of Darkness license. Just asking questions. I know better than to get into these empty semantic arguments with you, Miss Lewinsky. You're good at them. The problem is, you're still not good enough. Meaning? You're too in love with weaving a good story and establishing a seductive narrative to let facts get in the way. You've got enough boring suits with no principles on board these days. They always give you facts because that's all they can do. I'm using facts as a way to approach some kind of truth. Except facts can blindside you. And Double Spiral has enough facts to water down your story to the point where it makes no sense to publish it. Their HR and PR are working overtime to deliver a convincing corner narrative, and they're doing a great job. Won't mitigate the damage completely, but will put every little thing in question. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. What have you got against God damn it. Oh, all the Satanists in the world are not just like pure evil, I can assure you. Julia, let me say it again, Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Do you personally believe it or not? This is not You've listened to the tapes, you've read the transcripts, you've seen the documents, you've got the files. I'm asking for your personal opinion. Do you believe it or not? Click clack, click clack. Jessie's a bally. She's ballin', apparently, as well. I don't know what's happening either, to be frank. Except that we have a story and we're trying to publish it. I don't know this guy. But we've already conjured up an opinion in our head just because it's either he's a sexual predator, he's a fraud, you know, he's a hack. Or just, yeah, he's a piece of shit. Of course I do, but that's besides the point. It's not. Look, how about I just say it out loud and save us both some time? We're not having this conversation because there's an actual conversation to be had. You set up this meeting knowing very damn well that there is only one way it's going to end. You've got a mortgage, 3 mouths to feed, you prioritize the well-being of your direct surroundings over some nebulous concept of greater good. I get it. I really do. Yet for some reason, it seems like you're only prolonging this conversation and rationalizing your decision so that I forgive you? Officially exonerate you? I'm not the bad guy here, Julia. So what are you? What are you then, in your own words? A man who does what is necessary to protect his own. So I don't count as your own anymore? He mutters something under his breath, ending with a self-pitying chuckle. I don't know if you'd even want to work under a scumbag like me from now on. Oh, come on, don't turn this into a pity party. No, I'm absolutely a scumbag. And why is that? Because I'm firing you. You piece of shit. My thoughts are scrambled. For a brief moment, the state of my bank account displays before my eyes with startling clarity. A howling void opens into my chest and starts traveling towards my stomach. No, don't panic yet, you idiot. Get more information, now. There must be a catch. And what about my work? I'm playing as Julia, apparently, because we were in the diner at like 3:30 in the morning, and now we're here this like 10 AM, apparently. Yeah, this will be our character, at least for the moment. I'm not sure if she's a main character or maybe someone on the side. Let me get this straight. Ever since we met, I've been working on stories and pieces no one else in your office would touch with a 10-foot pole. Constantly interviewing total nobodies, always busy traveling in the middle of nowhere or regretting my last trip repeatedly ordered to clean up someone else's mess. Julia, all your long-winded spiels about how the disposable work and the most important work, and suddenly you only remember the disposable part. My feelings about the quality of your work remain the same as ever. It was vital. It kept the magazine going. I will always appreciate it. Then why would you threaten to fire me? I would never threaten you. It's a done deal. They've made their decision perfectly clear. They? What? They? Who is they? He glances left and right, and then points upward for a short moment. When he speaks up again, it's in a hushed voice. You know, the big kahunas. Can't really question them, and they wanted your head on a silver plate. He's not looking me in the eye. You're not joking. I would never joke about stuff like this. You thought it was your partner? No, we're playing a role of someone at the moment. It's real. Fucking hell, it's real. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it all to hell. All these years, all this grind, all my plans, and for what? For what fucking asshole? You know I deserve better. I always deserved better. And it always ends with me going down the drain back to the sewers. Fuck. No. Take a few deep breaths. Don't lose the plot now. Keep yourself together, you idiot. The moment you show weakness, they go for your throat. Get back in control. You can't do this. I wish I didn't have to, but it's a lost cause. No, I mean, it's impossible. Julia, you can't fire someone who's never been hired in the first place. It takes him a few seconds to put on his "oh, I get it" face, let out a troubled gasp and start massaging his temples. Lodestar has been my biggest source of income for the past few years. That much is true, but technically, nobody has ever hired me here. It was all freelance jobs. Back to the sewers. I guess she means like, you know, back to bottom of the barrel, like scrape, you know, for scraps for food and stuff. A full-time position only served as a kind of a dangling carrot, a promise of a decent pay grade, career perspectives, maybe even some kind of insurance to save my failing health, and the recognition I would get for being a part of the Lodestar team, a position that everyone around me seems to respect, aside from me. Then why did I want it so much? There will be time to mourn what could have been. For now, I should act like I don't care. You know what I mean. If I let you work, even under a fake name, it would be a guillotine for me. This is ridiculous. You know I'm going to start shopping this story around the second I leave this room, don't you? Of course I know. I told him. Any response? Let us worry about that. Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all. Click, clack, clack, click. I do wonder if I could get accustomed to one of these loud mechanical keyboards some people here love to use. Whenever I did my work in here, I was still expected to bring my own crappy laptop and sit closer to the lobby. You immediately started like Ninja Turtles. Yeah, but still, it's not really like Julia's gonna get a pizza and hang out in the sewer and just have like a rat teach them how to do like neat tricks. I was on the outside, no matter how hard I tried to break in. A vibration in my back pocket feels like a bad omen. I decide to ignore it for now. I've been working on this fucking story for, I don't know, 16 months, on and off. I know. You kept cheering me on. I know. We have even agreed on the pay I'd receive. I know. I'm 2 months behind on my rent. No, wait, 2.5. I catch him off guard. He's momentarily taken aback, and then gives me an empathetic stare. Don't you look at me this way. You don't have the right. I didn't know. Well, now you do. Look, if there's anything I can do to help. If you can't tell your big kahunas to fuck off, I don't think there's a single thing. Julia. I pulled out a smoke and lighted up. Gotta get back in control. Please don't do that, there's a smoke detector here. No worries, Nick turned it off a few weeks ago. Probably the most creative thing he's done in the past 5 years. Good old Nick, the perfect 21st century cinema reviewer. Never has an original thought of his own, just relies on his purely algorithmic taste to stay likable. And the best thing is, it works. Funny. I used to dream about his job. Making me realize Nick wouldn't be unseated anytime soon, and offered to teach me the ways of an investigative journalist instead. She is not a likable protagonist so far. I mean, I'm not helping, but at the same time my choices are quite limited, to say the least. Wasn't the career I ever wanted to pursue, but to my dismay, I turned out to be surprisingly good at this. Until this Montgomery thing happened. It just works. Serves me right. Lesson learned. Should have pursued my dreams instead. You know, it's kind of funny, like years ago back in school, I actually wanted to be a journalist for some time, and it's just like, I probably shouldn't do that, I should really enter somewhere else. And yeah, journalism's not a great sector to be in right now. Stop it. Nicholas is a good friend, a respected critic, a member of my team. And put out that smoke. People tell me I let you step all over me. Why do I even let you act this way? Because you once told me honesty is the most important in a mentor-student relationship. Is most important. And that it works both ways. Because I thought we were friends. He bites his lip and stares sideways to avoid my eyes. At the end of the day, bosses aren't friends. Must have been a terrible mentor if I didn't even teach you that. You were still responsible for me, or could have been better. Journalists and lawyers are everywhere. No, you see, if I went into just like being a lawyer, I probably would still have something, you know? No, you're still responsible for me. Oh no, you're not getting off the hook with that easily. You're still my mentor, and I will make sure you take responsibility. You're getting rid of me. At least point me in the right direction. I need to get my shit together, fast, and I can't do it on my own. Fair. I might have failed as a guide, but I will do what I can not to leave you stranded, okay? There are options. None of them are a remedy for all your troubles, but... Ugh, wait a minute. Another vibration in my pocket. Another foreboding feeling. This time I reluctantly take my smartphone out of my pocket. If it has to rain, why not let it pour? A new email. It's a lengthy one. And the sender? Speak of the devil. No, this can't be. Christ. I got an email from Mila Lopez. She claims she's just been laid off from Double Spiral. Same as, Mike Antonov and Jared Rivera. What? What happened? I'll spare you all her insults, okay? The key thing is, it seems that their HR wants all the confidential information about my journalistic investigation and used it to shut everyone's mouth. Hell, apparently Montgomery walked up to Lopez as she was emptying her desk and told her to thank me for being, a quote, dumbass and careless cunt. Brian goes pale. I think he has every good reason to. You fucking scumbag. You outed my sources. What? What? No, of course not. Why are you even saying? Oh, don't you dare play coy. It must have either been you or me or no one else. And you know the way I work. My investigation was basically untraceable, both on and offline. Carefully picked meeting spots, encryption upon encryption, every direct quote rewritten 5 times, just in case. All my red herrings scattered around. I know my shit, you know I do. And this timing, did you just pass a flash drive to your beloved big kahunas during a meeting as a sign of goodwill? Look, I get you're upset, but why don't we just talk this through, calmly? Everything has fuck in it. Alright, sorry for no fuck you. Okay, let's take this step by fuck you. You're right, we should. Nah, fuck off. Oh my god. I actually don't know. I guess I have to tell him to fuck off. I have no... Fury takes the wheel, and I'm just here along for the ride. I can't do anything about it. In a deranged way, realizing you're just a passenger in your own body feels liberating. Just seeing it all unfold. Calmly? Fuck you, Brian. Julia? I've been paranoid for months and months, acting like everyone I didn't know was an assassin or a corporate spy. I know I haven't messed up, not in a way that would implicate all of them. Everything has fuck in it. Former journalist describes. God damn it, Pat. And the problem is, it's actually kind of true, even if it's not stated, like, outright. You goddamn... You thought you could get away with this? I haven't done anything improper. Don't push the blame on me. So what? You're claiming it's my fault? Because you're never the guilty one. It's always the bosses, the economy, the obligations you have, and now me. You're being silly. Quit with this martyr bullshit. Calm down or I'll have to... You immoral shithead. You motherfucking... Calm down for God's sake. Actually, there was a typo there. It just had God, you know, it didn't have the S after it. And so it goes. I yell out a lot of words I wanted to say for a long time, but held back. I fling a lot of insults I've been workshopping for years, hoping I'd never use them. I break a few things. At times, for a split second, I see pity in a long time. Wait, what? Sorry. I see pity in somebody's eyes. It's going to haunt me for a long time, but in the heat of the moment, I don't care. These people, no, this company has nothing left to offer me, so at least let me take this catharsis. In the end, a security guard has to escort me out of the building, and that's the end of my journalistic career. I just feel like my world has crumbled into nothing. Great game, a little fucking for fuckers. Like, I'm trying really hard just not to break my heart laughing right now. Jesus Christ. Dakota. I mean, you have every right to, like, Jesus, if I were you, I would have already broken down into a sobbing mess. That's probably a really annoying voice. I don't know if I should do that for her. I'd love to, but I'm on a subway, far too proud to cry in public, even now. And it's stupid, but I feel like someone out there keeps destroying everything I hold dear, just to see my reaction. Like it was a prank show and someone was waiting to record me crying. So, out of sheer spite, I'm doing my best not to cry. Fuck you, whoever and wherever you are. That's the most Julia Savinsky thing I've heard. Spite is the greatest motivator, huh? I'm not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right now, to be honest. I just want to stay in bed until my shithead landlord calls the cops to forcefully evict me. Not surprised. Shit. I know that whenever life decides to fuck you over, it's always one thing after another, but this is too much. How much is too much? Let's recap this last week of June 2019. I've been kicked out of my job. Well, not that I've ever been hired. So let's just say my mentor broke every vague promise he ever made to me. A big thing I've been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my sources properly, and now they keep trying to reach me through every possible channel to threaten me or just yell at me. And they have every right to react like that. All of my side gigs were shut down. Nobody's replying to my emails. Someone's been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes, and it worked. I still have no idea who's sending these shitty messages around. I've been asking, but listen, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stand idly by and watch you get cancelled by some mean-spirited delusional. I said, don't worry about it. I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previews were stressful enough. Joseph Kravovsky from the Flex Tape video will be proud. Oh, here's hoping. She'd go crazy if she heard about the situation, so I have to pretend everything is okay when she calls. And she calls every day, and she just won't hang up before she offloads me, all her burdens on me, and I can't blame her. Because we all had to learn to cope with Dad's psychotic tendencies somehow. Oh, so our character has daddy issues? God damn it. I was robbed. All my documents, and what little money I had, gone. Don't even know when or where it happened, and it's driving me crazy because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. The list goes on. I don't want to sound paranoid, but it really feels like a concerted attack. Paranoid is good. Anyway, I know you always hand wave this topic away, but just remember that if anything happens, my place is your place, and you don't have to go through it alone. I do. I've been a trouble magnet, and as self-centered as I may be, I don't want it to affect you. I know. Listen, I have another call. Alright, just call me if anything happens, no matter how dumb it seems, okay? And swing by whenever you can. I will, thank you. See you. I put my phone away, exhale, and blankly stare in front of me. Christ. I glance at my reflection in the window. Just look at this idiot. Whenever the situation requires me to dress formally, I still feel like a child cosplaying as an adult. Should have just followed the dress for the job you want advice and continued just dressing up like a trust fund kid who keeps partying on Brooklyn rooftops for years without a care in the world. It's only after a while that I realize the car is empty. Unnaturally so. I start feeling uneasy, but someone enters my peripheral vision. Well, your eyes are red. Very red. And that's the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. When I come to, I'm out of the subway, standing in the back alley I don't recognize. It's pretty dark. My eyes start adjusting and I try to figure out what happened. There's a gun in my hand. A faint silhouette of my feet. It's not moving. Somebody stands in front of me, covered in shadows. I can't fully make out her face, but she's staring at me with visible intent. She speaks. Her voice is raspy and androgynous, her tone hateful and mocking. I'm not gonna be able to do that voice. Aren't you a nasty one? What is going on? Who are you? Don't play coy. My mind goes blank. I look at the ground. There's a body riddled with bullet holes, and I recognize who it is. Was. The corpse belongs to Mike Antonoff, one of the double spiral whistleblowers, my source. He was just threatening to get back at me a few hours ago. Before I can even feel the tiniest bit of compassion, I face a terrible realization. They will think I'm guilty. Oh my god, am I guilty? How is this real? What have you done to me? You have done something to me, haven't you? Back in the subway. That was you, wasn't it? A man is bleeding out at your feet, and you're turning this around on me somehow? I haven't done anything to him. Again, don't play coy. You knew him. He was mad at you. You started telling him sob stories about your situation. He wasn't having none of it? I thought it was he was having none of it. I thought that's how it was. You got mad, things escalated, he died. This isn't true. It's plausible, that doesn't make it true, or does it? This is just a nightmare. It doesn't even make sense. It must be a dream. And if it isn't, the person in front of me must be responsible. There's a faint voice in my head, screaming that it's her world, that I'm just living in it. What the fuck have you done to me? Nothing yet, but I'll do what I can to get you locked up for life. This is a murder in the first degree with special circumstances. Are they sisters? I honestly don't know what's happening right now. The English motherfucker. Her detached voice and nonsensical tone only reassures me this can't be real. I refuse to believe it is. Before I even manage to think this through, I point the gun at her. If I did murder him, you wouldn't be acting like that. You wouldn't be standing in front of me. You'd be running away, calling the police, begging for help, yelling that I'm a psycho. Oh, you are a psycho, but I'm not a coward. I won't let you walk out of here alive. That doesn't make a single lick of sense. Tears well up in my eyes. Why are you doing this? Because sometimes one has to confront what they're really made of. There's no two ways about it. She's gotta be nuts. Slowly but surely she starts walking towards me. Stop right there or I'll shoot. Go on. It's the only way you can get off the hook, isn't it? The only way you can survive. But you'll definitely prove you are the monster I claim you are. What the fuck is this tone? So controlling, inauthentic, patronizing. I'm serious. For your own sake, you'd better be. She keeps getting closer. Maybe I did kill Antonoff. Maybe I don't deserve to live. Maybe it's less tiring not to live. Maybe I should just let her take care of me. Maybe I'll just wake up. Or maybe this insane reality needs to be rejected as violently as possible. Maybe a world that wants to destroy me deserves to be destroyed. She's right in front of me. It's now or never. Do I shoot her or do I not shoot her? Like, part of me kind of does want to shoot her, but something tells me if I don't shoot her, there will be consequences. You agree with her, living is too tiring. Oh, don't say that, please. I mean, yeah, to a degree, just, being alive, it's just tiring, because obviously, at the end of the day, you just have to go to sleep and wake up again, but let's not dwell on that. She said that I had to kind of prove myself, to prove that I'm strong enough, but at the same time, clearly she did it though. Clearly she did it. You think I'll kill someone for real if I do, but didn't you see her eyes? They're a really unnatural red shade. Fuck it, I'm gonna shoot her. I close my eyes and squeeze the trigger. A loud bang echoes through the alley. I'm afraid to look at what I've done. I've been to a shooting range once and felt absolutely horrified by pistols. Such a small thing, but it can easily puncture a hole in the fabric reality is made of. Never knew I'd be able to use it against another human being. The very thought makes me want to puke. You were a right choice after all. I'm so glad. You haven't allowed yourself to break. But you've crossed a line I needed you to cross. There's a silent flame in you. That could become an inferno if left unchecked. I sure hope it will. She's still alive. Her voice is coming from behind me. She puts her hands around my waist, and her cold mouth touches my neck. I can feel my shirt getting violently torn off. I don't understand, but I'm too dazed to protest. That was your final test. Congratulations. You have proven yourself worthy. I can feel something sharp sliding into my neck. It's not too painful, just startling. Think, a doctor pushing a needle into your vein without a proper warning. Then it hits me. Pure bliss. The dopamine receptors I've considered completely fried until now only recover and start bombarding me with pleasure I've never known before. I finally let the tears go. They come flooding. They've been waiting for years. It's such a relief. Is it raining? I feel like I'm in the middle of a deluge at least, washing away all my fears, all my sorrows, all of my anger, all of my pain, all of my ego. Maybe she has rabies? Oh wait, what? I'm not a Joker. Oh, but I pulled the trigger, so I guess I kinda am. I guess I'm a vampire Joker now. I become one with the world and the woman behind me. She's holding me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in this world. Everything else blurs. I feel something intense towards her, something I've never felt before. Is this love? I hope it is. This is not you, hisses a familiar, cynical voice in the back of my head. But it's okay. I never felt particularly fond of me anyway. New York, you're perfect. Oh, please don't change a thing. He who laughs in the shadows always has the last laugh. Hallelujah, praise be. When everything is cliché, nothing is. Isn't that the ever-distant utopia I've been chasing all along? People on other trains? I hope you're doing fine. God, shut up. Just enjoy it. You finally understand. She's making love to me. She's giving birth to me. She's burying me. I'm pretty sure I've been dead for a while. I'm pretty sure I could stare at my own corpse in her hands from a distance. For a moment, somehow. And then, I'm alive again. She lifts her mouth from my neck. No, wait. I taste blood in my mouth. Was I drinking her blood? Too? Sounds like an Amnesia soundtrack. To be honest, like, the soundtrack isn't bad. I mean, it's enjoyable, it's atmospheric enough, like it serves its purpose. I realize that whatever this was, it's over, and I have to bask in the afterglow while I still can. I also immediately understand that I'm going to chase this fleeting feeling for the rest of my existence. Finally, she lets out a whisper which concludes the ceremony. No matter what happens next, don't forget, you're a monster. But you were lucky enough to be born into a world of monsters, so don't you ever mourn that fact. Omni, hey, welcome on in, and thank you for the bit. Be careful. I'm trying, but apparently I wasn't careful enough. Embrace it. My life is now a comedy. When did it ever stop being one? Once again, I find myself in Big Beat Burger. I don't know if it's like a bit of a tongue twister or not. Familiar surroundings, faces I recognize, mood, same as it ever was. Still, I process it in an entirely different way. It all frustrates me now, or more precisely, makes me frustrated with myself. It's like I'm clinging to the remnants of a cocoon I've outgrown. Ugh. Oh wow, you got vampy really quick. Okay, no pun intended with having said that either, by the way. It's the same with these cigarettes. I don't need them anymore. So why do I keep holding on to them? Fucking hell. It's like I refuse to accept that I'm something better than I used to be. A vampire. Just 2 nights ago I met Karen. She embraced me. By which I mean, turned me into a kindred. She calls herself my sire, and me, her child. Welcome on in, Vitoria Fortuna? Or Rosina? Okay, I'm gonna look her up on Spotify after this. Because it might be nice to at least, you know, it's chill enough to leave in the background while you're doing something. And it's you'll still hear her playing, and it's nice, quite frankly. Last night she taught me the basics of survival, drinking blood, manipulating humans, bending steel, controlling shadows. Tonight I expected more lessons. Instead, she just taught me to go out and enjoy myself. What's the catch? I asked, to which she responded, I might kill you if you prove to be a disappointment. There are a few rules. I have to uphold the Masquerade. I can't contact anyone I knew as a human. I can't let anyone recognize I'm not human anymore. I can't embrace anyone, and so on. Otherwise, I'm free to do whatever I want, but for some reason, the first thing I did was come back here. Old habits die hard. Karen is probably watching me from somewhere even now. The way I understand it, tomorrow night she is supposed to introduce me to the Camarilla, a local society of vampires. Turns out they're the ones who have been... Thank you for the bit, Omni. No, it's a visual novel. I added it in the title, maybe it got cut off. So it turns out they're the ones who've been systematically ruining my life lately. All a part of some secret evaluation that I barely passed. Just imagining the reach they have makes me dizzy. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. After they destroyed the old me that I barely cared about, Karen rebuilt me anew. On one hand, the test left some scars that will take time to heal. On the other hand, maybe I should just be grateful. I am snapped out of my thoughts by a sudden scream. Some douchebag yelling about his french fries not being salty enough. I think this is my cue to leave. Permanently. Goodbye, Triple B. I hope to never see you again. I'm destined for greater things, you see. Oh, there's a little map. Retributive justice. A meathead bully and his unfortunate victim. I probably shouldn't interfere, but what better chance could I find to test what I've become? Dance macabre. Time to swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. The club beckons. Or the risks of swiping right. This Tinder addict smells like A, a bit of a loser, B, I want to be intellectual, and C, a perfect source of nourishment. Well, given, like... Yeah, I think I'll go to the dance floor, quite frankly. Why not? This club reeks of death, and I love it. I've been here a few times, but I've never seen anything this breathtaking. Everyone around me is whacked out of their minds, and as they keep dancing madly, the spirits dance beside them. So you guess the social aspect of the original vampires will be embraced here? I reckon so. Like, this is the first ever of the visual novels that I'm mentoring in right now. I know Coteries in New York came prior, but I'm just hoping that this doesn't play into it too much, so I'm just trying it out. Spectral silhouettes phase in and out of existence, becoming more visible the more intense the music grows. It looks like a bizarre ritual, a profane mass. I notice it's the voice samples the ghosts use. What? The ghosts react to the strongest. The most suggestive ones cause them to appear distorted, even tormented. This is a really strange... Wait, I can actually see ghosts. Or is it just like a silhouette of someone? It's as if something was struggling to be born out of the harsh sounds, and the dead were hoping to be reborn alongside it. They're all uneasy, quivering with desire for something far beyond their reach. Probably the same as when they were alive. Sometimes the living dancers spot the dead counterparts. It's usually the most manic ones who notice something out of the corner of their eye, for only a split second, but never realize what they've glimpsed. Some apparitions dance to a completely different tune than the rest of us, one only they can hear. Those seem the saddest. The spectacle is eerie. At times it's unbearably melancholic. Above all, it's beautiful. I keep on moving to the rhythm until I reach a trance-like state, and then something even stranger happens. Every now and then, when I brush against someone, a fragmentary vision appears before my eyes. A car burning on a freeway, an outstretched hand in the depths of the sea, a man jumping out of a skyscraper window. Memories of the past? Preventable visions of the future? I have no idea what it means, but I'm strangely eager to find out. And then there are dancers like her. Ones that aren't ghosts, human, or even vampires, but something else altogether. This new world is full of mysteries, and I plan to get to the bottom of them all. But for now, I just want to dance. So, obviously she's going to come up again at some point, but if she's neither human nor vampire or anything, then what? I'm just going to see what this guy is about then. Two men are facing each other in a dark back alley. One of them stands with his back against the wall, his chest heaving as he's struggling to catch his breath. People, anybody out there? I'm being robbed. A brawny, rugged guy is yelling at metal staircases with a theatrical incredulity in his voice. With a lively step, he dances around an older man who's having trouble finding his footing. What is this bullshit? Oh, so now you can talk. Good, because I'm dying to hear what you did with my wallet, Holmes. Wallet? I have no idea what you're talking about. The goon starts prancing around like a Muay Thai boxer. He's smiling, but his eyes send a clear message. You're cornered, buddy. Don't even try to pull a fast one on me. By the 9 divides. Assault! Oh god, it's been ages since I've even played anything from the Elder Scrolls. I have to get back into it. Even earlier when I was just looking through my files, Oblivion was there staring at me. It's waiting to be played, and it's been a very long time. Come on, homeboy. You may have been able to trick an average Joe on the street with your act, but a fighter recognizes a fighter. It's like an animal thing. It's an instinct thing. You've got some moves on you. You're like... shit. You're like the Black Mamba, lightning fast reflexes. He starts shadowboxing for a moment. The man's definitely got energy to spare. However, I'm like a king cobra. You've met your match. 2 apex predators now locked in battle. Oh, so you're seeing snakes. That would explain something. Before he's able to finish, a sucker punch knocks the air right out of his lungs. The old man slides down the wall. Before he can let out a groan, he's interrupted by a brutal kick to the chest. That's what I'm talking about. A fighting spirit, even when you're cornered. Ugh. Take a seat, deep breath, collect your thoughts before you speak up again. Remember where you put my wallet now? I'm pretty sure you broke my rib. An eye for an eye, a rib for a ribbing. Biblical punishment. It's only fair, homie. Fair? At least admit that this is a mugging. Wallet my ass. Still in denial. Okay, let's say I had about 5,000 bucks in there. Give me 6 grand and I'll let you walk away. Relatively unharmed. So you admit it. Admit what? That this is not about proper compensation. This is a robbery. Look, buddy, this is beginning to bore me. Unless you want to go all Anderson Silva on your ass, give me what I want. Anderson Silva? Yeah, Anderson Silva. A flying knee meeting your solar plexus. The man, the myth, the legend. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, Western boxing, Taekwondo, Wing Chun, and Capoeira combined into a single fighting style that can only be described as straight-up murder. Sounds more like of a theatrical thing than anything else. What's the thing that, oh, what's his name? God damn it, I forget his name now. He was even, like, going around into different Western countries as of late, claiming, what was it? I don't know, he met Putin and a bunch of other people in, like, Ukraine, like, political figures in Ukraine and stuff. God damn it. But it's just purely theatrical. It's movie stuff. It doesn't actually... Seagal, that was it, Steven Seagal. Yeah, it doesn't actually do anything. It just looks fancy. And that's the vibe that I'm getting right now. I've been studying the blade, you see. No, I've been studying the glorious singularity that is Anderson Silva for years. He's been studying Steven Seagal. Every move I have, I owe to him. So if you don't want this snake to turn into a deadly spider, show me the money, honey. Summer 2013. Las Vegas. Huh? Watched it live. On pay-per-view. Weidman saw through all of Silva's tricks. Whooped his ass. Broke his spirit. Showed him for a fraud he is. The man hasn't been the same ever since. All the empty showboating, hollow taunting, drunk on his own Kool-Aid. Jesus, of course you idolize him, asshole. For a good minute the moon is silent. The goon silently looks down at the whimpering man at his feet, chewing on his lower lip. When he finally speaks up, his voice betrays an intent to kill. You know what, homeboy? Screw the money. This is a matter of honor now. My thoughts. Exactly. Ha! He raises his fist. We've got ourselves a mixed martial arts expert here, huh? For your own sake, I hope you can back that talk with some self-defense skills, homie. Take a chill pill. This is pathetic, or that's enough. You laugh so hard it'll launch you. Oh god. Because you even see, like, some of the performance, it's pretty funny. In a way, it's good, like, for movie stuff, though. That's enough. That's enough. He jumps at the sound of my voice, turns my way in the blink of an eye, and immediately assumes a combat stance. His reflexes are sharp. Looks like he has at least this much to back up all his bravado. Wannabe Anderson Silva's face betrays him. Betrays utter confusion upon seeing me. He's got no idea how I managed to sneak up on him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to explain it myself. Let's go full anime hero here. Oh, my sentiments exactly. It felt like I became one with the darkness, my pure consciousness traversing a dusky dreamscape, jumping from one shadow to another, as if they were different trains of thought. I think of some experiences I've had with psychedelics. Every blink an adventure. I was outside of this alley. Blink. I was above the alley. Blink. Now, I'm in front of this guy. And he pisses me off. The older man slumps down. Looks like he was trying his best to keep it together and gave up once the cavalry arrived. The goon regains his composure and barks at me in an overly gruff way. The hell you sneaking around here for, chica? Move along, this is between men. Not anymore. His fist turned towards me. I'm serious. And an equal opportunity ass-kicker. I respond to the threat with the brightest, most innocent virginal smile I can put on. So you're into shadowboxing, huh? Something comes over me. I can feel the darkness embracing me. whispering sweet nothings in my ear, pumping me up for what's to come. A low spinning sweep, a crane kick, or a reverse elbow. We could do the whole crane kick and just, you know, pretend that we're really good martial artists and stuff. I don't know though. Might go crane kick. Cool, but have you ever watched Karate Kid? Before he manages to respond, my foot meets his chin. The move is absolutely impractical, but I managed to pack so much strength into it, the guy's body reacts as if he just received a powerful uppercut. I know what he's thinking. I should have blocked it. And he absolutely should have. But instead, he just flailed his arms helplessly, as if suddenly he found himself in front of an oncoming train. A primal expression of fear that suddenly and completely took over him. I don't know how I look right now, but judging by his expression, my best guess is like the gaping maw of some primordial beast. I follow the surprise attack with another punch to the solar plexus, or at least my nearest estimate. Once again, the effect terrifies even myself. Looks like my hunch was correct, and I hit the right spot. He falls to the floor, whining like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. I let him collect himself a bit, and then grab him by his chin. Learn to choose your battles, homeboy. Let me go. For Christ's sake, just let me go. I kick him in the direction of the alley entrance. He staggers off, quickly disappearing from my sight. I check on his victim. Looks like he's conscious. Wow, you whooped his ass, girl. But hasn't noticed anything out of order. Good. I was getting worried I might have overdone it a bit. That woman did say that keeping a low profile will be crucial if I want to survive. You alright? Need help? He managed to stand up. His smile is strained, but it suggests he's fine. Or at least trying his best to seem he's fine. No, you gave me all the help I needed, and then some. Thank you, miss. What's your name? Jessica. Thanks, Jessica. I was worried for a second, but this asshole's bark was worse than his bite. He's probably in worse shape than me now. I guess that counts as a victory. The thing is, like, he doesn't look old. Not really much older than the guy that was attacking him. Just my opinion. I better be going. My wife is probably worried sick. But before that, if there's anything I could do to repay you. Wallet, please. Oh god, I could rob him right now. I could be such a dick. I mean, to be fair, like, I did just spare him his life, and quite frankly, if he was to piss me off, you know, I could take his wallet and maybe a little extra, you know, his life, maybe his head, if I fancy. Where to celebrate, or just be more careful. I guess I'm just gonna be nice. I don't want to be too mean, but at the same time, the thoughts of just robbing this guy right after, like, saving him, it's kind of funny. I'm never the dick in these games, though. Just for once I want to be a dick. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Kraken. Just be more careful. Forget about it. Just be a little more careful in the future, alright? A true hero I know always refuses compensation for her help. At least that's how I think things should go. Never thought I'd help someone in a street fight. You're something else, Jessica. You never wanted to try your skills in the octagon. Too much in love with my gorgeous face to see it bruised, battered and swollen. Sorry. I hear you. Whatever you do next, God bless you. And there he goes. God, huh? I feel like one right now. No more worrying about being out after midnight. No more feeling uneasy whenever I spot a shady arsehole across the street. Ever. Hell, I could start stalking in Central Park after midnight now. Not that I need to. The future is looking bright. Just not too bright, you know, we can't be in the sun or anything or else we'll die. Wow, what a night. I watch Times Square from above. It's beautiful. Never thought this place could make me emotional, to be honest. But here I am, feeling deeply moved. Who would have thought? Getting up here was surprisingly easy, Easy, all things considered. Took more thought than physical effort. The artwork is absolutely beautiful here. Like, it's perfectly moody, but it's not too moody. It's quite nice, yeah. Whoever the artist is, they did a fantastic job. I just hope that they got, you know, proper compensation. Given recent events, let's just put it that way. Earlier tonight, I started experimenting with the body's limits. I realized I can jump over small buildings and climb steep walls with ease now. And my whole perception of space has shifted. I planned a scenic route across the rooftops. I did my best to avoid attracting attention, just as I was told. Stayed in the shadows as much as humanly possible. We're not exactly human, though. I spot a drone from afar. For a second, I feel uneasy, but I remember what she told me. Machines won't get a clear view of me anymore. Camera footage, photos, it's all glitched out or blurry. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't try to catch my reflection earlier on. I couldn't see my face clearly, not in the mirror, not even in a puddle. My face was like one of Dali's clocks. She told me to keep a low profile regardless. Someone might take note and track you down. She didn't care to elaborate, but it didn't sound encouraging. Suddenly, it hits me. I might never be able to see my own face again. I won't even be able to take care of my looks by myself. And what about the long-term psychological effects? And you don't think the decisions would work out in real life, though? Nah, not at all. But you know, sometimes, you know, you get a little bit too antsy to try something new. A knot of anxiety tightens in my stomach. Jesus. This is probably just the tip of the iceberg. What else is going to change? Calm down. Wait a second. These past few nights have been the best of my life. For years I was on a downward spiral. Failing health, no future. A feeling of overwhelming perilousness. Now everything has been flipped upside down. A total paradigm shift. A bad ending is no longer the only option. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. I forgot how that feels. Where it used to stand at mere seconds to midnight, the doomsday clock has been effectively turned off. A cold breeze brushes my cheek. As stupid as it sounds, I choose to read it as the world telling me to chin up. Looks so good. Need to get through my Bloodlines playthrough and play both Coteries and Mind if I host? Not at all. Thank you very much for even asking, quite frankly. Bloodlines. Oh, Jesus. I've been playing that recently as well, but with the mod for the final nights. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but the base game, absolutely fantastic. Gorgeous. I love it. It's one of my favorite games. I can bend anyone to my will. I am capable of superhuman strength. I am a master of shadows. I can do anything. Tomorrow night, I'll be introduced to my duties. If everything goes according to plan, I will become a New York City representative. Clan La Zombra! Oh, we're playing a La Zombra! Oh, sweet! Whoever they are, whatever that means, I have no idea what to expect. But tonight is tonight. I'm free. All my worries from a month ago feel like they belong to someone else. Finally, things are looking up. March 2020.
Look what just walked in.
Thank you, Aries Advocate 88. I really appreciate that. Is it goth attire comes with vampire abilities? I don't know, but I like her style. It reminds me of something like Widow. What was it? House of Widow. Yeah, they used to do a lot of nice stuff, but goddamn, it's expensive. Back at it again. A big beef burger. Familiar sounds, familiar smells, familiar faces. Yet again, I'm recalling that night when everything finally seemed to change for the better. Family sticks together. Well, thank you again. Seriously, I appreciate it. I mean, it's not like I wasn't expecting everything to go back to the old depressing normal. Even in the thick of it, the rational part of me recognized my state as temporary. But with these highs, there's always a hope it won't end. Or maybe that an ego death will finally occur. Be satisfied, you stupid fucking bitch. I command you. Here's all the logical evidence for why you should be satisfied. Here's the obvious direction for your life. And here's a detailed explanation of how you should treat the people that care for you. No dice. I always fall back into the same old habits. It's like they were encoded deep in my DNA. The aimlessness, the powerlessness, the spiritual exhaustion. These goddamn fast food trips. These stupid fucking self-loading, now amplified whenever I drink somebody's blood. Maybe I should just blame it all on the misfortune of my birth. You do this social climbing until you dissociate, and then you're just this untethered, constantly frustrated ball of dumb desires. Except, I'm sort of immortal right now, and I need to figure out what to do next. Hey dog, welcome on in, how you doing? You thought she lost her foot? Nah, it's just underneath the table. It's shadowed. Chicago by Night has the deets on the Zombra's recent turnout. Or turncoat? Oh! I watched this obscure Asian movie once, Eli Lema Sabachthani, starring Tadanobu. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. Tadanobu Osano, one of the coolest guys in the world. He plays this Merzbow like figure, a legendary noise musician. There's this mysterious virus spreading around the world, causing despair and mass suicides. A rich CEO's granddaughter gets sick and longs to die, so he spends a fortune searching for the cure. Turns out Asano and his friend, played by this violent onsen geisha guy, are traveling through Japan, searching the corpse-strewn streets and fields for any unique item that can produce beautiful sounds. As it turns out, this avant-garde walls of noise they create are able to heal the infected. The CEO begs the band to help, offering them all the money they want, but for some reason, they refuse. Through a series of flashbacks, concerts, and vignettes, a mystery unfolds. Eventually, we realize that Asano's music is not just a remedy, it's also the cause of the virus. Whenever it connects with people, they get this hunger for more extreme, more novel experiences. You're good? Oh, that's good to hear. I'm doing pretty good as well, thank you. It's too real. Yeah, geez, like especially with a virus, if that's what you mean. And eventually, they hit a wall. Nothing can satisfy them anymore. They lose their will to live. Not even the musicians are spared from this curse. They know the end will come, sooner or later. The girl saved by a mind-blowing concert, but the tragedy is merely postponed, not averted. The last shot of a Jesus-like Asano, silently considering his role as a savior and destroyer, stayed with me. The form of the film is abrasive, little to no narrative coherence, some weird cartoonish creative choices, the Japanese noise soundtrack, the very freedom and hard to understand weave of themes. But at this point, movies like this are all that truly connect with me. I'm the New York City representative of the I'm the New York representative of the Lasombra clan now, also known as the Night Clan. They are masters of shadows, who can cast distorted reflections and make modern tech go haywire in their presence. Last year, a few months before I was embraced, the Lasombra had joined with the Camarilla, the biggest and most traditional sect in the vampire world. The two groups actually used to fight each other, but our leaders found some intel that made them reconsider their strategy. So, they sent a diplomatic mission to parley with their historical enemies. The deal they got in Chicago was simple. An unlife for an unlife. For every La Sombra vampire allowed in the ivory tower, one La Sombra vampire has to meet their ultimate end. I still remember the name of the woman who met her final death, so I could begin my unlife. Her name was Hester Reed, a sworn enemy of the Camarilla, a guerrilla fighter who spent decades opposing them. She was someone with far better principles than mine, from what I gathered. Well, whoever she was, her execution by my sire served to convince the New York City elites to give us La Sombra a chance. Then they set out to look for a mutually agreed upon candidate who'd become the clan's rep in the city. My sire searched for someone who gave the impression she was more than she appeared. The local court was looking for someone they could walk all over. After long negotiations, they decided I was a good compromise. So she's now concerned with an immortality, but she can still die, is it not? Well, yeah, you have the traditional ways of killing a vampire, but in the society you have to do something to kind of earn your death. Kind of like in Bloodlines, where you have the 5 Masquerade violation thing, 5 strikes and you're out, pretty much. It's basically, a don't attract attention thing, generally speaking. Don't sire anyone without permission and whatnot. They proceeded to systematically destroy my entire life just to make me show I was psychologically strong enough to join their ranks. The turncoat special, they called it. Somehow, I succeeded. And it eventually led me right back to where I started. I stopped writing and put my pen down. Will that be all? Valerie. I don't know what voice to give her though, I'm afraid. I gave a really annoying voice to Dakota. Yes, Miss Duval. I hope you enjoy your stay in London. Oh, I very much doubt I will. Just like every cultured person, I think the only good Englishman is a dead Englishman. Ooh. I'm not sure I should be reading that out loud. Fucked up serial killer, privileged scum. Just get the hell out. Okay, I don't want to offend her. I don't want to offend her just yet. Not until I learn a little bit more about her. Also, her hair is so fantastically large, I love it. Unless I... Okay, wait, is this about her? Or is it about, like, the English? Because I don't know now. Not to get, like, too political, but, the Irish and the English, we kind of have our history together. Especially down more south of Ireland. Than annually, and yeah, never mind. Do I just say, like, privileged scum, or just say a fucked up serial killer? I don't want to tell her just get the hell out, because that would just end up, like, the conversation straight from the get-go. This one kind of seems like the only way to open up more. A little. Maybe. Must be nice, traveling the world and all that. Yeah, Caracas, Mogadishu, Shanghai, the blood tastes the same anywhere you go. The biggest difference is that your duties become more of a hassle. Miss Duval, every word you uttered tonight just made you more punchable. Will that be all? Tell Kadir I said hello, and farewell. Safe travels. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, psycho. Oh well. I'm the lone La Sombra in this town, and my representational role means jack shit. No title, no perks, no whatever. Right now, I'm the court's gopher, doing all sorts of work nobody else will touch. So kinda like when we were alive. My main duties? Being a sort of immigration officer. See, New York City is probably the biggest vampire travel hub in the USA. And definitely the biggest one on the East Coast. Almost every kindred arriving here from Africa and Europe comes through here. The local Camarilla is nuts about bureaucracy and population control, so every vampire leaving or arriving in this town is supposed to check with me to inform me about their travels. Oh yeah, even Damsel was saying about, you know, or no, Jack said about, you know, oh, it's just, you know, fascist crap from the Camarilla. Thank you, Aries Advocate, for following. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm not Englishman, but I'm still offended. Whoa, well. Woe is me. It must be very tough being offended like that. Damn it. Well, in theory at least, the VIPs play by the different rules. They take care of this stuff through connections and servants. But for the smaller fish, unlike a vampire Statue of Liberty, the first bloodsucker every kindred coming to New York City should see. On paper, anyway. The first after the Prince, or Kadir, the Primogen Council. These things vary. Yeah, I'm a naturally traitorous La Sombra, so they still prefer being traditional and hands-on about these things. Thank you. Yeah, they're pretty much all Bloodlines themed, as well as the... yeah, you know already. It's just one of my favorite games, so I had to. As I said, at the end of the day, I'm just a gopher. And this work only serves to remind me I'm not quite in. Just standing at the gate. They haven't even given me an office. I just meet everyone in public places, such as coffee shops or this fast food restaurant. Some consider this an insult and lash out at me. But luckily, most of them understand we're in the same boat. Only here because we're curs who need to be reminded of our place from time to time. Speaking of, my last client is 15 minutes late, and I still have more errands to run tonight. This is getting irritating. To be honest, I should just find some self-respect and leave. But I won't. My sorry upbringing left me with this stupid sense of responsibility. 10 more minutes pass. Eventually, an unfamiliar woman appears by the door. She tells someone to stand by the door and walks in. Oh, now that is a pretty scarf. Long chestnut hair, body stuck in her late teens by the look of it. A fashionable scarf covering most of her face. Elegant clothes, dignified walk. I signal her to sit in front of me, trying my best not to let my impatience show. She obliges. Here to check in? I'm just gonna be kinda nice. I don't want to be too rude. You're here to check in? I am. Julia Slavinsky, I presume? She's scanning her surroundings like we're at a circus. I hope you won't mind if I make it quick. I'm needed in Elysium. Name? Catherine Wiese. Huh. I swear I've heard that name before. Someone else's description of her crosses my mind. That weird lady who owns the art hole, but is never there? Weird. So it is her. Catherine Wiese. The owner of the art hole, de facto headquarters of the New York City Camarilla. For fuck's sake, Julia, what are you doing calling her weird right off the bat? God knows you've already made a fool of yourself in front of enough VIPs in this city. Recover. I'm sorry, it's just like... I still don't know many people here, so I have to go by the descriptions given by members of the Primogen. Well, the description is mostly correct, outside of that one word that slightly perplexes me. Pot calling the kettle black, sounds like. Oh, from what I've gathered, it's just that your interests are rumored to be, not fully aligned with the Camarillas, and it irks some folks up there. Being a keeper of Elysium is not enough for some, I see. I suspected as much. But what can you do? She seems chill. Good. Anyway, Catherine Wiese? Wow. Yes? Want me to spell it? People often have trouble getting it right. Forgive my indiscretion. It's just that... Well, it's just that people of your stature usually don't bother checking in with me. They usually report their arrival to one of the Primogen, and they make all the arrangements. I heard Prince Pranhard is pretty... busy with the preparations for her big party. I assume that if I spared her some paperwork, she'd appreciate it as a gesture of goodwill. Besides, I wanted to meet the infamous La Sombra representative out of sheer curiosity. My interest peaked once I heard about her. She looks around knowingly. Unique circumstances? I like how you've only been in Lizomber for a little while, but you've already shrouded yourself in dark clothing and iconography. Hey, dress for the job that you want, you know? She said that earlier, and she's doing it now, so, you know, good for her. And she's straight from an Oblivion Dark Brotherhood. Maybe. You know, I never actually met the Oblivion Dark Brotherhood. Yeah. Yes, Prince Helene Panhard had trouble justifying the exorbitant rent my property would need. That's literally pennies for her. And as far as I know, she's been sitting on an empty property since last year. Looks like they've got it out for you bad. That's what I assumed, but it's nice to get a confirmation. You really should. I will eventually, just need to boot the game back up really. Well, it's not like my clan has ever been particularly popular in these parts. At least that's what I've heard. Sins of the father and so on. Yes. Just to make sure, you've never met Hester, but you know of her. I do know. I do know I wouldn't be here if not for her. Have you two met? Omni, thank you for the bit. Took down the request game thing. Yeah, I mean, there's already 3 in the queue, so... Thank you for the bit. I know, I'm so terribly mean. I can't believe how mean I am sometimes. You're more of a Morgue Tong fan? To be fair, it's been a long time. I'd have to get back to that, actually. I know, like, in the Morrowind you'd have, you know, you go into the Tong and stuff, but that's in Morrowind. I do know I wouldn't be here if not for her. Have you two met? They have cool insect helmets. They do, yeah. I remember that part about them at least. It's been a very long time since I played it though. To get to them. No, I only heard of her once or twice. We had similar outlooks on many issues, although we tended to come up with completely different solutions. In any case, I think it's meaningful that they feared her. Now they fear you, and that's why they're keeping you down. If anyone who's not a VIP said this to me, I'd laugh in their face. Oh, I get what she's doing. She's trying to buy me my favors. Best not to act like I'm easy to please. Stick to business. Time will tell. In the meantime, I'll need you to help me out with my documentation. Of course. So, where are you coming from? Washington, D.C.? She says it the way that people in Hollywood movies say it. The way that suggests her Washington is wildly different from the Washington you and I would see. What are you doing there? Take a guess. Government work? Write that down. It ought to amuse Helene a little bit. If you say so. Date and hour of arrival? She takes out a plane ticket and slides it towards me. It's all here. 1 AM, got it. Method of transit, plane. Purpose of visit. Meeting with Prince ought to work just fine. I guess. Estimated duration of visit? Undefined. Write in 6 months if you really need to. Place of accommodation and conditions of intended stay? The art hole. Conditions should be adequate. You tell me. I tend to be happy with Airbnb. Home sweet home? I'm not certain that I ever felt particularly at home here. That makes 2 of us. Curious. Do you have nothing holding you here? The face of a blonde-haired friend appears in my mind's eye, then vanishes. There's nothing holding me anywhere. I see. A prolonged silence. She stares into my eyes, and I return the stare. She's studying me. It's unnerving, but I do my best not to turn away. Eventually, she smiles. How can we see that smile? Unless it's kind of like she's taken her face out of the scarf by now. Didn't you say you were short on time? Oh god, yes. Kadir will kill me. I quickly begin to collect my stuff from underneath the table. You can simply inform him I paid you a visit. He'll understand, and he'll pass it on to everyone who should be in the know. I'll do that, yeah. You're a big deal, huh? I could do that and just be really rude. Do you need anything else? I'm fine. I was about to ask you that myself. You're the one asking questions here. That's all from me. In hindsight, that was a really dumb option to take. Good. We will see each other soon, I hope. The party tomorrow night? I, wasn't invited. She gives me a pitying look. I don't need your pity. I understand. Well, if not given the opportunity, we should make our own. I'll be in touch. Good night, Miss Visa. I wish you a pleasant stay. Assassination. Oh no, that would be a surefire way of getting your head chopped off, probably by the Camarilla. Good night, and don't rush these things. You've got your whole unlife ahead of you, and you're in a position where you can take it easy. Take your time, get a different perspective. I nod and walk slowly out the door. When I lose sight of the restaurant, I sprint toward the subway. Slow night. I wish you're late again. By the way, I hope you have a good excuse. Kadir al-Asmai. Asmai? Again, I'm terrible with names. The mighty sheriff of New York City is not happy with me. No wonder. I met him in front of Elysium 30 minutes later than the time we had agreed upon. Yeah, well, Catherine fucking Visa decided to arrive fashionably late. A likely story. She's supposed to be out of the city. If you think I'm pulling your leg, boss, feel free to check my report. I pass him all of the official papers, the way I do every other night. Kadir stares me down for a good few seconds. Then his steely gaze softens. You're serious? Visa and McDonald's? With the mask and elegant clothes, surrounded by the smell of French fries and hamburger patties? That must have been one hell of a sight. Wait, when? What, McDonald's? I thought we were in Triple B. A frenemy even? Maybe so. Okay, like I'm aware that this guy was in Coteries, and then a red-headed figure. And that's pretty much it because the redhead is on the front cover, pretty much. Technically, it was Triple B, not McDonald's. Oh, well, that clears that up. But yeah. God, I made such a fool of myself. First thing I did was quote somebody calling her a weirdo. I wanted to die on the spot. Serves you right, you walking faux pas. I've been trying to teach you to control your tongue, but you never learn. It's a new gaffe every week with you. Still, there's good news and bad news. The good news is Catherine has a fondness for vampires of humble beginnings. Probably why she decided to see you in your, shall we say, natural habitat. She's one of those rich artsy arseholes who seeks out working class cred. I did say something about watching your tongue. The bad news is she's very astute, so she can recognize a moron like you straight away. You never stood a chance at oppressing her. Oh, shut up. You still need me for anything here? I'll get on it straight away. I wouldn't be standing out here chatting with you if I hadn't taken care of my duties. 30 minutes is all it took to finish preparations for the big party. I'm about to see everyone off. Sorry. Couldn't be helped, I suppose. And it's more your loss than mine. I just wanted some company tonight, and you could really use the chance to appear here on official duties, so everyone can get to know your face. Heaven knows your last fast food job isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to, what do they call it? Hustle? You don't need to tell me that, but it's not like being paraded around for a bunch of blue-blooded douchebags is. He somehow manages to give me a painful nudge in the back without so much as a hint of visible movement. Language, you fool. They're coming out. Just stand here in silence for 5 minutes and focus on not embarrassing yourself any further, will you? Psst. Got it. The first two silhouettes appear out of the doorway of the art hole. An old man in a wheelchair, pushed forward by his young servant. Haven't seen either of them before. Well, he looks posh, I guess. Mr. Payne, the night is still young. Hope you find the rest of it pleasant. Payne, the wheelchair. I've heard about him. Addison Payne, one of the American Camarill's main connections to the government on Wall Street. Disabled in quite a few ways. Needs a servant to communicate. Ooh, ouch. I'd be full of resentment if I... Hold on, sorry. I'd be full of resentment if I was embraced in this condition, but apparently Payne is nothing but grateful for his immortality. He keeps writing fervent defenses in the traditions and Camarilla customs. Should I just wish him good night? Maybe. So when do you start eating rats? Thank you, Omni, for the bit. That'll actually be tomorrow. For tonight, I just wanted a chill, relax kind of night because I'm feeling kind of tired. Grandpa that we saved got even more grandpa-ish. Ooh, that's kind of mean. Maybe I should just wish him good night. Good night, Mr. Payne. He wordlessly shakes Kadir's hand, but doesn't even deign to acknowledge me. At least his servant gives me a small bow. I return it. They leave. Kadir turns to the next person leaving. High Regent, can't wait to see you in your outfit. Spare me, Sheriff. These fancy dress parties cause me enough suffering without your help. I can only hope you haven't conspired with Helene to embarrass me with this gift. She points to a shrink-wrapped set of clothes she's carrying inside her coat. Kadir smirks briefly. I didn't have to. As you well know, Prince Panhard displays a considerable foresight in the matter of party planning. Yes, if there's one thing she's deadly serious about, it's frivolities. A recognizably mortal quality, especially for a prince. We ought to celebrate it, not oppose it. Don't worry, Sheriff, I'm a big girl who knows her etiquette. I will play your game, amuse the crowd a little bit, and return to my study as fast as possible. Aisling Sturbridge, High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs. A hero of the battle in New York, the biggest warlock in town. Could be a prince herself if she didn't have her eyes on the bigger prize. The thing is, nobody knows what that prize is. The only thing it has something to do with the goal of her thaumaturgical research. Whoever tried to find out what it is failed. Violently. Oh, I'm sure you're going to have fun, Miss Sovinsky. Here has just... What? Oh, sorry. Miss Sovinsky here has just informed me Catherine Visa is back in town. It is safe to assume she will join our festivities. You're kidding me. She did say she will attend the party. Or, wait, she sends her regards. Did she actually say that? That she sends her regards? Because, oops, sorry, I'm after hitting the microphone, I think. But did she say that she sends her regards? I can't remember. Oh well. She did say she will attend the party. But wait, if I choose wrong, then maybe she'll be kind of displeased with me down the line, and it'll turn into a case I'd have to win back kind of like favors again? I don't know. Maybe I should just say she did say she will attend the party. Yeah, I don't remember it either. Thank you for the bit, Omni. The better question is... What is the better question? I'll just say that she will have said that she said that. It's not safe to assume, it's certain. She told me she'll be here tomorrow night. Thank you for the bit, Omni. I did indeed find the battery. Visa, excellent. I'd love to catch up with her. The barely concealed venom in her voice clearly suggests that, in fact, she'd hate to catch up with her. Yes, it looks like tomorrow night will be very special, but for now, I bid you adieu. And she's gone. Is there some kind of story between Aisling and Visa that I should be aware of? You could say that. High Regent Sturbridge once attempted to call for a blood hunt on Visa. Wow, why? I've heard 5 different versions of the story, and all of them seem plausible. Catherine's relationship with the city is odd, to say the least, but hush for now. He's obviously trying to kill the conversation, and the appearance of Thomas Arturo gives him the perfect way out. Mr. Arturo? Ah, Allah's May. Keep up the good work, eh? Of course. Thomas Arturo, an architect by trade. He's a herald, a member of Prince Panhard's inner circle, an eccentric whose thoughts seem to be 10 times faster than his words. Take care. I don't want to be too, like, patronizing either. This sounds like it might be. Good night. Good night, Mr. Arturo. Ah, yes, yes. He disappears into the night. Well, that was brief. Maybe I should stand in their way. That might force them to properly acknowledge my existence. You severely underestimate You severely underestimate their dedication to ignoring whelps like you. Well, that's not very nice, Kadir. And just in case you're serious, I beg of you, don't. I've been meaning to ask you this for a while now, but never had the opportunity. You really hate Arturo's guts, don't you? He carefully measures his diplomatic response. I have no strong feelings about Thomas Arturo whatsoever. Yeah, well, considering you're always listing positives about every local camera representative under the moon, you might as well have just called him a cunt. Language, whelp! And as for Arturo, I will share my opinion about him as soon as I come up with one that sticks for more than a week. A group of kindred emerges from the art hole. I keep thinking of the ass pole from the game. Rushing towards the street, only a noble-looking woman stops next to us. She's wearing a hijab, but curiously enough doesn't hide her hair beneath it. Primogen? If you were rude enough to stare, you'd quickly notice the cloth serves mostly to cover up her horrifying scars. Kadir! Oh, and young Julia. So that's Samira. Omni, thank you for the bit, and yeah, the ass pole. But, yeah, that's just in the games. It's Ash's club. I think we passed a couple times. You know, besides the police also chasing us because we're Samedi. I'm doing my best not to stare because Samira is one of the few New York City Camarilla figures who hasn't been an arsehole to me yet. Still here, did the prince require the clan of the Huns counsel in some matter? Yes, I advised her that no matter how hard she tries, she shouldn't expect me to wear a different costume tomorrow night. She's the Banu Hakim Primogen, just like the La Zombra. Their clan was independent from the Camarilla until relatively recently. However, they negotiated a better deal than we did. They have a Primogen for one. Hailing from the Middle East, the Banu Hakim are drawn to the practice of justice. The rules must be upheld, and every transgression punished. They don't have much of a say in New York City, but the prince often seeks their judgment. It's just good PR. I trust she was understanding. Those are beautiful clothes. Thank you so much. I'm eager to see the outfit you have come up with. And how are you, Julia? Have you seen any lights at the end of the tunnel? Same old, same old. You know, just kinda play it cool. The Clamarilla oysters galore. God damn it, Pat. Same old, Samira. Still wandering in the dark, bumping my shin every 2 steps? Sorry to hear that. I trust you're pestering the prince and your superiors to improve your standing. It's a process. Oh, Julia. You won't achieve anything if you don't keep reaching for it. Kadir, weren't you supposed to teach her the ropes? I'm trying to, Primogen, but with this child, it's always a process. I can only wish you good luck then. Good night, Julia. Good night, Kadir. Good night. Have a safe trip. The art hole has to be almost empty by now. Omni, thank you for the bit. And my mod is indeed trolling, yes. And I don't have any issues with that, don't worry. You don't like her, do you? Stop with your class clown act, whelp. It only serves to reveal deep insecurities. Well, that's harsh. It's factual. Were I as harsh as you claim? She did tell us both to call her Samira, but you're still keeping your distance with that primogen shit. Watch your profanity, and don't project your fantasies onto me. I won't give you a lesson about professional boundaries, but I suspect the way you will eventually learn it will be extremely unpleasant. Am I interrupting something, good folks? Even though I'm constantly pestering him, Kadir's composure is unshaken. His response comes swift and unfazed. Not at all, Mr. van der Weyden. Heading back to your office. You know me, my dear sheriff. Where else would I go? Now that's curious. Even though Carter van der Weyden is a primogen as well, Malkavian to be precise, I don't hear Kadir address him as such. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Oh, I will absolutely show up provided I can. But just in case, I've already apologized for not making it to the prince. Simply drowning in work these days. The rhythms, tempo, and intonation patterns of his voice are so familiar. Half of it sounds like JFK, Joseph F. Kennedy, the other half exactly like Barack Obama. Just like his appearance, it all feels so fake. He's old money, of course, comes from a long line of Dutch merchants, who originally settled in New York region, runs a wildly successful law office, rubs elbows with elites of both kindred and kind, varieties alike. Hominy, thank you for the bit. The game is trolling me? I don't know, that's yet to be seen. Thank you for another bit. Not giving you rats to eat or batteries to find. Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? Sorry, my throat's a little dry, so I'm just kind of drinking some water. He seems perfect in every way, and that's why he's so unnerving. He's a child of Malkav, and must be blighted with some affliction, but whatever it is, he doesn't let it show. Hard not to wonder what he's hiding. The celebrations are planned to last all week. Surely you'll find the time. I pray I will, my good man. I pray I will. In case you need to reach me, you know where to find me. Have a good one. He doesn't even register my presence before leaving. Sometimes I think they're all just hoping I'll simply go away. As Carter drives away in his limousine, Kadir shakes his head. You wanted to hear about which member of New York City Camarilla I dislike the most? Yeah? He shoots me a knowing glance and smirks. Too bad they're all my dear colleagues, and I deeply respect every single one of them. Sure you do. Wouldn't want to blurt out something that could lock you out of Mr. van der Weyden's legal services, would you, ass kisser? I do expect to find myself in need of a good defense attorney when my broke, incompetent, and foul-mouthed assistant finally pushes me over the edge. Rude. Do you still need me here? I still need to swing by St. Patrick's tonight. What? It's a little late, I guess. Judging by today's standards, but nevertheless. Don't worry, we're almost done. The prince is coming out. The captain is the last person to leave the ship, huh? And there she is, Helene Panhard. The big kahuna, as someone I once knew would call her. The de facto ruler of New York City, and a self-professed patron of the arts. Kadir, a penny for your thoughts? You should be pleased to hear that the High Regent is resigned to her fate. My prince, Mr. van der Weyden, is decidedly not. I suspect you'll be too busy to join the festivities all the week through. Excellent. She turns to me. Miss Sovinsky, weren't you supposed to accompany our good sheriff in his duties tonight? There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Visa is back in the city. Catherine is here? Now that's a welcome surprise. But what does it have to do with you, Miss Ovinsky? Well, I took care of the paperwork. She said she didn't want to trouble you with all the paperwork regarding her arrival. Prince Panhard, it's all been taken care of. Kadir's already been informed of everything. That's certainly a nice gesture, but wait a minute now. Where exactly did you meet her? In a fast food restaurant, my prince. I see. Helene rubs her eyes. Catherine and her love for proletarian amusement. I suppose it will be a source of amusing anecdotes this week. If we want to avoid these situations in the future, it might be a good time to discuss offering Miss Sovinsky an office of her own. We'll get to it eventually. There are more pressing matters at hand. The festivities start tomorrow and there's still so much to be done. Will you make sure the art hole is secure before leaving? Certainly, my prince. Have a good night. Good night, Kadir. Good night, Miss Sovinsky. We'll talk about your work soon. Don't worry. Of course. Good night, Prince Panhard. A chauffeur escorts her to a limo. There's an awkward silence between me and Kadir until the car disappears around the corner. More pressing matters, huh? A penny for your thoughts, Sheriff. I'm certain an image of a keeper of the Elysium stuck in a fast food restaurant will linger in Prince Panhard's mind. You're far closer to your goal than you were a few minutes ago. I'm pretty sure I've heard you say something to that effect a few times now. And I stand by my words. Rome wasn't built in a day, Julia. As a Camarilla loyalist, don't you think it sucks that the Ivory Tower is so hellbent on showing disrespect to my clan? They're actually willing to make fools of themselves in the process. We've all had to endure our own hazing rituals, but yes, the current situation is not ideal. Whatever. You need a hand closing up the Elysium? I'll manage. It's getting late. Better run. Some shadow in Chicago is probably impatient to get a copy of the reports you've given me. You've pleased one master, now it's time to please the other. Yeah, here's the thing about working for two masters. Neither of them really thinks of you as their own. Not knowing how to reply, Kadir shrugs. I wave to him goodbye and head for the subway. Now that is beautiful. When I reach St. Patrick's Cathedral, I'm greeted by a voice that grates on me like teeth on tinfoil. Well, 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 the prodigal daughter returns. Oh my god, no. This is the one thing I didn't want to happen. Julia, please, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord and thy God in vain. Uh-huh. Where's Father Leonard? His clergy duties kept him from getting here on time. He sent me to apologize in his name and keep you company for a few minutes. That's the second thing he ought to apologize for. He just wants his flock to live in unity. I am more than willing to oblige him. Why won't you? For the last time, I'm not a part of his flock. We have a purely professional arrangement. I know you see it that way. The Knights clan's tendency to stick close to the Catholic Church is their greatest virtue, but they still consider this relationship purely instrumental. This is why we need kindred like you to bring the spiritual change to your clan, to make them understand God's precious gifts. The closer they get to the light, the greater their shadows will become. Again with this insufferable sermonizing. Wait, he's a degenerate? Benoit Segal here is a local nutjob and an ex-artist. A degenerate with some sort of complete mental... Oh, who had some sort of complete mental breakdown in the 90s. To recover, he took to religion for solace and guidance. At first, he proclaimed his readiness to devote the rest of his life to studying Nodism. After a few years, though, he changed his mind and joined... Why would you join the Catholic Church? As a vampire. As luck would have it, his neophyte's zeal found a major target in me. When I first met him, I was stupid enough to tell him I was raised Catholic and still identified as such. Somewhat. He immediately pictured me as some sort of a force for change within the Camarilla, and set out to put me back on the righteous path. Now he won't stop preaching to me, apparently until I become a nun. Remember, the darkest place is directly beneath the candle. You turncoats have this unfortunate predisposition to find salvation right within your grasp, and then lose your way in the shadows. Christ, once he starts, he just won't stop. I guess it's time to bring out the big guns. By the way, I was meaning to ask, got any news about Sophie Langley? Langley? A painful grimace crosses his face, but doesn't linger. Kind of rude to change the subject, you know. Rude? I'm just looking for a topic both sides of this conversation will care about. You know, like any guide on etiquette says you should. Salvation is a topic close to anyone's heart, whether they admit it or not, and it's pretty bold of you to assume I still care about Langley. I do not assume. I'm certain you do. The second she retires from the public eye, you stop acting like Yeezus era Kanye and start acting like Jesus is King era Kanye. Coincidence? I've never had a Yeezus era. Do people really call it that? Here's how it's going to work. Tell me what you know. I'll tell you what they say. And keep in mind, I didn't know she was your sire until a few nights ago. Hell, I haven't even met her. He winces a bit at me, saying hell, but lets it go. Sure, I figure you would have prodded that wound long ago if you knew. But what do you care anyway? Better to let you drone on about your tormented past than to let you carry on with your good missionary shtick. Professional curiosity. Once a journalist, always a journalist. He scratches his head, then exhales in a sad mockery of a chuckle. Fine then. I'll do my best to make it short. Just like you said, Sophie Langley, every New York kindred's beloved socialite, was my sire. We first met some time after World War II. I left France right before the Nazis went around the Maginot Line? I'm sorry, I'm really bad with this. I struggled to keep my siblings alive with my art. Watched my brother die during the flu epidemic of '43. I was close to losing my mind. That's when she showed up. Said the sheer torment of my works caught her eye. She became my patron, allowed my talents to flourish, and supported me financially. Eventually, she embraced me. As a well-off kindred, my artistic interests started to naturally deviate from what they used to be back when I was a poor, mortal upstart. I began to see the world the way her social circle does. And that she couldn't forgive. Instead of being a fun novelty, I became just another part of the malaise surrounding her. She grew distant, and then stopped seeing me altogether. I've had my share of meltdowns because of this, I won't deny that. I locked myself out of many career opportunities, but it was an important lesson. Don't trust your elders. Vampirism affects them psychologically as well. If they take interest in you, they won't stop until they suck your soul dry, and then discard you like a broken toy. For the first time since I've known him, Seagal registers to me something other than a Bible-thumping nuisance. Is it compassion I feel? Do I find him relatable? How dreadful. It's possible he strategically is trying to elicit sympathy. Maybe he heard about my dramatic exit from Lodestar. Or maybe he's just alluding to the way my sire left me here to fend for myself. It is only God who will never lead you astray. Excuse me. God who will never lead you astray. This is why I find your act so frustrating, Julia. You're so close to getting it, but you choose sin instead. There's the Benoit Seagal I know. Almost had me fooled. Let's get back on track. What about Langley's disappearance from the city? Her path was a road to perdition. Wherever she ended up, I doubt she's too happy about it. She's had plans for the future of the city. Wanted to make it her ultimate artwork. She was always the vain one. And of course you are completely sure you have nothing to do with her disappearance? Please don't tell me you're getting at what I think you're getting at. Everybody says you've been acting like you're trying to repent for something ever since her vanishing act. And you've got a motive. Of course I'm getting at what you think I'm getting at. Benoit shakes his head. You really have the devil in your heart, Julia. Always testing me. Just asking what everyone's thinking. Are they now? Listen, I'm familiar with a lot of the insults attached to my name in the city. Those aren't exactly compatible with the images of a ruthless killer. Killer, huh? Now that's interesting. I haven't said anything about killing. He scrubs his hands over his forehead and collects himself before responding. Stop picking apart every word I say in this completely unpleasant way. Here's a statement if you really want one, Miss Hercule Poirot? Hercule Poirot? I'm really sorry, I'm terrible with names, always have been. I do believe Sophie, the way I knew her, has met her end. Even if she's still walking this earth, she wouldn't come back here as the same prideful aristocrat. She'd have to undergo a spiritual rebirth. Someone has reminded her of her place. Her former friends talk of her in hushed voices. Even that servant play toy of hers went missing. No more Camarilla parties. She's done for. Whatever happened to her, I don't know. I swear on Jesus and his sandals, I had nothing to do with it. But yes, I'm still here, and she is not. And it's not a reason to gloat, but to be more humble. I received a sign from God telling me to re-examine all of the unfortunate ways I still resemble Sophie Langley. And I listened. I rejected the pride I shared with her. I renewed my vows to God, recommitted to preaching to his greatness. I mean, this is why we're having this conversation in the first place. Right now, when I think of Langley's influence on my life, I am grateful. Because she was a sign that got me here. And, if God wills it, maybe one day you'll look at her the same way, Julia. Mental note. Whenever he circles back to his preachy tone, it's time to intervene. Alright. If it makes you feel any better, I think the only way a wimp like you could have hurt her was by boring her to death with your Bible quotes. Now then, quid pro quo, tit for tat. You're saying people still talk about me. I was curious if— oh, look who's finally here. Stalling for time worked. Father Leonard rushes in our direction, carrying a folder of documents under his arm. I assume it's the one I came here for. Father Leonard? Christ be praised, Julia. Yesterday I was told how priests greet their parishioners in Eastern Europe. Forever and ever, amen. Actually, I think we said each other's lines. Never mind. After another long night, isn't it? Taking its toll on you? No need to worry. These days I sleep a few hours a day. Short naps take care of the rest. And there's always work to be done. I apologize for being late. At least I managed to get here before you and Benoit went to each other's throats. Good. I was getting worried. Oh, who do you take me for, Father? He takes you for a total bozo who is about as effective at converting people as a documentary about pedophilia. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's just too kind to say it out loud. Ouch. Hear what I have to deal with, Father? But don't worry, we'll make a saint of her yet. Forget saint for now. I'd settle for an adult in the room. Yet to be fair, I don't really like our character at all. Passive aggressive much, and that's why he's 70 years older. You do remember he's at least 70 years older than I am, right? As far as I'm concerned, growing up has far less to do with age than with the conditions of our formative years. Here. He gives me a folder he was carrying with him, and I pass him the reports I wrote earlier tonight. Among kindred, it is common knowledge that the Catholic Church is one of the Lazombra's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Camarilla is slowly warming up to the clan. Money talks, I guess. We are technologically impaired, and as such, woefully unprepared to face the challenges of communicating in the 21st century. Hard to handle advanced encryption when you can't even unlock a smartphone. This is where the Vatican connections enter the picture. A web of priests scattered all around the world exchange air dispatches between each other, making sure they all reach their destinations in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in the Holy See is a friendly to her kind. Gee, I wonder why they're not friendly to your kind. But the most shrewd and talented usually are. You could say they're like a mortal Camarilla, better than any intelligence agency. Remember what happened to John Paul I when he attempted to uncover the workings of the Institute for the Works of Religion? Death after 33 days of papacy. Rumors of CIA and Masonic involvement. Not the Father Leonard has anything to do with this. For a Catholic priest, he's alright. He probably have made me stay a believer a few years longer than I did, had I known him as a teenager. Leonard is intelligent, kind, helpful towards his parishioners, treats his superiors with a healthy dose of skepticism, and is not involved in any sort of political church games. Well, at least not beyond helping me contact my bosses in Chicago every other night or so. He knows about the Kindred, he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppression, because according to him, it's the right thing to do. Omni, thank you for the 2 bits. Money does not talk, but people tend to hear what people with money has to say. Thank you for the other bit, but yeah, I suppose that's true. I know there's got to be something wrong with him, some selfish motivation maybe, and I haven't nailed it down yet, but it doesn't feel like he's making an effort to hide it, so I'm giving him a pass. By the way, I hope you don't mind. I finally took the liberty of asking how your parents are doing. Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have. Not a problem. A priest at Saint Stanislaus Kostka? I'm sorry, is a good friend. He said your parents started showing up every Sunday again, front rows. Your father is looking better and better. It makes me feel nothing, but I still give him a token nod and a grateful smile. Thank you, Father Leonard. Now if you'll excuse me, the sunrise is almost here. Yes, be careful, and God bless you. Amen. Goodbye, Julia. I'll let you off the hook this time, but next time, you won't be so lucky. Alright? Sure, just one more thing on my never-ending list of events I'm not looking forward to. Guess it's time to call it a night. I'm home. Finally, you're doing alright? Oh god, I can do this voice again. I gave her such an annoying voice, I'm sorry. Fine, I guess. Why aren't you asleep? I figured it's finally time for me to become more of a night owl. We've talked about making our schedule sync better. What's your vitamin D? I'd kill to have your skin. Would be ashamed to waste it. Shouldn't have smoked so much before you got bitten, sweetheart. Should have shared your skincare routine with me back when I was still breathing. I can't just be going around sharing my one secret weapon. It's top secret stuff, MK Ultra level. Jeffrey Epstein's current whereabouts level? I'd have to kill you if I told you. Dying sounds good. Oh, that's a dreadful option. Oh, I better not... I can't choose number 2. Unless I do. I don't know. I could say I have a secret weapon too. Dog. I might go with the safe option here. Okay then, love you too, hun. Come on, what's with the attitude? Nothing, I just thought... We're beyond hiding secrets from each other. I guess I was wrong, but okay, I get it, I really do. Time out, you're not really mad, are you? Nah, it's just my inner arsehole teasing you. Never mind. I feel a little more self-conscious than usual tonight. Don't. You want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? No need. No need? Weren't you supposed to have some sort of big party tomorrow night? I was involved in the backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you're the coolest, cutest, and most all-around amazing person I know. They'd be insane not to put you on the short list. Believe it or not, but most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic power vampire level insane? Because that's how crazy they'd have to be to ignore you like this. Yeah, I would say so. Fuck them then. A big bunch of posh dicks. They hate you cause they ain't you, but they'll see. Jesus, how do you do it? Do what? You always assault me so much with so much of this weird, stupid positivity that I can't react to without completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? Thank you, Omni, for the pin. Hard to take a Valley Girl voice with an Irish accent behind it. Well, sorry about that. Oh, the answer is easy. You remember how I told you that I have this spiritual connection? I can sense what you feel and want. You can sense what I feel too if you really focus. Yeah, I think I called it a big load of bullshit. Said a girl who talks to ghosts. But watch this, Agent Scully. I sensed you feeling down and I realized what you really need to end this night. She points to one of her drawers. It's the one where she keeps her supply of... ketamine? Come on. What? No, wrong drawer. We're not meeting demons, we're meeting angels. MDMA? Ding ding ding. Took you half an hour ago. Perfect timing thanks to our spiritual connection. Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I'd need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go. Prepared specifically to upload one Julia Savinsky. Just give me a sign and I'll press play. Jesus, you're impossible. That's why you love me, I hope. I give up. Come here. Let me have a taste of you. Maybe this one time, the high won't end. And I only have the ability to rest. Okay. I leave Dakota's apartment as soon as the sun goes down. Yesterday was fun, but I always feel a little nervous when I spend too much time with her. She never lets me escape from being the center of attention. It's exhausting. At least the less time I spend with her, the happier she is to see me again. It's a tricky act to balance though. Thank you for the pin. Please stop, the accent is too much. Is it really that bad? Like, I don't know what voice to give her, and that was kind of like the first thing that came to mind. I didn't know she'd actually look like that. That was the first time I had seen Dakota. At least the less time I spend with her, the happier she is to see me again. Tricky act to balance though. I'm grateful for her presence in my life, but never mind. What's on my list of chores tonight? Ah yeah, only one thing. Don't show up for the party at the art hole. Well, this is the rare night when I don't have anything to do. Might as well take a trip around the city and see what's up. Maybe fix myself a little drink while I'm at it. So yeah, breaking the habit. I need to break out of this mood, go somewhere I never visit. See something I tend to avoid. Think, Julia. What's the least you place to go and live a little? And then a walk in the park. In life I wasn't especially fond of parks. Now as one of the kindred I can finally see the appeal. Past midnight they become a surprisingly good hunt ground. I guess I could maybe go for this first. And then just see whatever is happening here last. Because our character did say like that it needs a drink. Or she needs a drink. Van Cortlandt Park. Cortlandt. Funny, I never knew how much I could miss nature until I got stuck in this urban jungle for good. The sight of familiar green surroundings slowly floods my mind with disjointed images. Back from when I just moved to New York City and was still in awe of it. I could reminisce a little now. I don't see the point in suppressing our memories unless it has kind of something really harmful behind it. But we don't know that, so reminisce. I close my eyes, allowing myself to drown in the stream of memories. An elderly couple holding their frail hand in the warmth of the morning sun. An evening gathered of self-important academics fervently discussing the discoveries no one but them cares about. A bunch of kids chasing an imaginary treasure. joyful, restless, and oblivious to the dangers of the summer's heat wave. A young, perfectly chiseled jogger, running along the golf course 100% graceful in every move he makes. Mesmerizing. My eyes snap open, and the spinning kaleidoscope of images fade away. I collect my focus and remember what brought me here. A burning heat reaches my fingers. I flicker the book away and immediately take another cigarette out of the pack before proceeding through the parade ground. The faint sound of shoes tapping against the concrete interrupts my contemplative mood. Just what I was hoping for. I hurriedly finish my smoke and take a step back, blending in with the shadows. A lonely jogger runs into and out of the pale lamplight, completely lost in his thoughts, all dressed in top-shelf sportswear, wiry muscles clearly visible under his skin, tight outfit, and his exposed neck. I get the urge back under control, for now. Back when I was alive, I'd rely on the breathe in, breathe out exercise. However, nowadays, breathing costs a premium. Just as I regain my composure, the jogger stops by the flickering lantern and takes a glance at his smartphone. His body tenses noticeably as he answers a call. Moving in on him right now would of course inevitably involve the caller hearing the assault happen. No reason to make things complicated. I'll take my time. I cautiously get closer and closer until I can finally overhear his words. Should expect the bad news, I know, but Jesus, Tasha, he's 9! He struggles and fails to sound calm. No, she doesn't know yet. I'll tell her when I get home. I need to think this through. I notice a lanyard, half stuck in a pocket, with the Bronx Times logo slapped onto it. They say there's no cure. Yeah, I heard something about experimental treatments in Rochester, but I can't make this decision on my own. I connect the dots, realize what he's talking about, and feel like I was punched straight in the guts. Listen, I need to clear my head, Tasha. Tell Jonah I need a couple days off. If he starts throwing a fit again, tell me better to learn to write the fucking column on his own. No, seriously. Thanks, Tasha. Yeah, I'll give him a kiss from his aunties. The moment he hangs up, his composure goes out the window. He basically stumbles to the nearest bench. God damn it. His faint sobbing stops me in my tracks. I lost my appetite. Feeding on this guy would feel nauseating anyway. Just when I convince myself that I should let basic decency take the reins, he notices me, creeping around. He gives me a startled glance, eyes damp, looking absolutely miserable. Busted. So, what do you say to a guy you were just about to assault in a dark park but thought better of it? Oh no. Are you a journalist? Are you kidding me? Why would I ask someone that? It's gonna be fine. I'm not sure I should really say that, because either way he's gonna take offense. Like I was eavesdropping on his conversation. I could play, you know, the ignorance, like, I'm lost and can you help? I guess I could, I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking of that too, dog. Suddenly the prospect of engaging him paralyzes me. I spew the first thing to cross my mind. I think I'm lost. I've been wandering for like an hour but can't find my way back to the, golf house. Spoken like a true damsel in distress. Fuck's sake. The man looks at me with suspicion. His eyes are still watery. You got lost in Van Cortlandt alone, in the middle of the night. And sober at that. Yeah, I had to clear my head. My friends told me that the midnight walk across Van Cortlandt Park can be quite cathartic. Friends, sure. He picks up on that. Well, some friends you have. You sure they weren't trying to pull a prank on you? Let me bring up a map. He shows me his phone. I barely catch a glimpse of his smiling boy's face on the lock screen before it starts glitching out. What the... Fuck. The picture got me leaning in too close. It was fine a minute ago. Just my luck. The jogger wrestles with his phone for a moment. A while, oblivious to what, or who, to be precise, caused the failure. He gives out a resigned sigh. You had an idea and abused the feck out of it? Now you're half an hour into the new Fallout 1 run and you're boasting endgame gear? Wait, how did you manage that? Sorry, but what? Oh, whatever. We don't really need it. Follow this path and keep going straight at the edge of the field there. Turn left the first chance you get, and then left again, past the fountain. Sounds easy enough. Thanks. He pockets the temporarily useless phone and gets up from the bench. Don't mention it. I notice a change in his melancholic face. He stands up with his back straight, like he has regained some of his lost resolve. He nods and starts running straight back to his problems. I started walking in the opposite direction. Even though I might regret the show of abstinence later, what little remains of my humanity inside of my shriveled heart encourages me to think that letting this guy go was the right thing to do. I'll need a change of scenery to break out of this mood, and an opportunity to actually get some juice into my veins, relatively guilt-free, if possible. Guess that's enough human interaction for one night. Once more to the Triple B and to the last food. Sorry, I'm just gonna call it the Triple B, because it seems kind of better that way. Into the last fast food joint I'll ever know. I'll have the usual. Sorry, just had to get a drink. The first time I used this line I wasn't sure it would work, but I've gained enough notoriety among the staff that it does. The cashier just smiles, nods and charges me for 1 black coffee. I can imagine them instructing the newbies. See that emo weirdo? Here's how it is. She always orders a single cup of coffee, nothing else, and she doesn't even drink it. Probably wouldn't take a single sip, even if I was still alive. This stuff is just trash. But at least being a buying customer gives me an excuse to sit here for as long as I want to. I wish I could use one of those self-order kiosks to minimize human contact, but touchscreens don't exactly like me. Not too long ago I managed to blue screen 10 of them in a row. Really? Because I thought they did that anyway. Wait, you save some explosives to easily kill a strong vendor? Ah, wait, that's the guy from like pretty early on into the game, isn't it? God, you got really stacked. Congratulations doing that so early on. You need to do a bit more for that. Ah, I mean you've got to halfway there. Oh well, the good news is it doesn't look like I have anything to do tonight. The bad news is, it's because every kindred who matters is having fun at the art hole right now. It's not like I wanted to go, I just wanted them to invite me so that I could tell them to fuck off. I really don't like our character. I scan the entrance to the restaurant through my peripheral vision. Am I naively hoping someone will come and save me from misery? Guess I am. Please, 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 let someone come in. Come and get me out of here. A prince. A princess. A knight in shining armor. A fairy godmother. A passing huntsman. Big bad wolf. What? Jovovich? Vin Diesel? Azalea Banks? Hell, I'll take anyone at this point. Visualizing. Tapping into the power of my subconscious. Materializing my dreams. Nope, doesn't work. Looks like you're internally stuck in a nobody in the corner of a shitty restaurant, sweet little Julia. When life's a bitch, and then you don't even die. I pretend to read a book about psychoanalysis I stole from Dakota for a while. Having found it too mentally taxing, I switched to pretending to reading a Stephen King book, which I also stole from Dakota. After the terrifying realization that it was written in the last 15 years, and therefore contains no amusing, drugged-out rants of a troubled childhood in Maine, I switched back to looking at the entrance. That party must be so stuffy and trashy and boring. She's making it really, really apparent just how badly she wanted to go, and I don't know. She just kind of keeps dwelling on it, I guess, and it's getting kind of, I don't know, a little old, I guess. At this point, I'm no longer looking for salvation. I'm asking for amusement. But it doesn't come. All I get is boring bozos in normcore clothes. They walk in, take care of their business without doing anything to amuse me, and walk out. A few minutes after I lose all hope, a tall, elegant man marches in with a spring in his step. He looks around, impatient, irritated. Then he notices the person he was looking for and reacts with visible relief. He gallantly approaches my table, looks at me, and says, "There you are." Now that's curious. He shouldn't be here. Big Bad Wolf. Careful, everyone. Big Bad Wolf is here. He will huff, he will puff, and he will blow our house in. Why are you stalking me, Wolf? I'll have you know I'm not falling for the grandma disguise ever again. My dumb attempt at self-amusement doesn't faze him at all. He doesn't even roll his eyes, just stares at me blankly. Grab your stuff and get in my car. Now. His tone leaves no room for doubt. Something bad has happened. I want to ask what, but whenever he's in his I will simply ignore all the dumb shit you say mode, I know better than to ask questions. Instead, I silently follow him to the exit. He guides me to his car. I just hope I haven't messed anything up. Again. I don't think I have, but have I? Kadir's car as usual. He gave me the back seat. He's always uneasy when the passenger seat is taken. Doesn't want anyone to limit his peripheral vision, he says. Normally I catch him observing me in the rearview mirror, but this time, he's watching the streets. More tense than usual. Something must have caught him off guard. I've got my seatbelt on and my popcorn ready. What's up? The awkward silence feels like it will last forever. Eventually he finds the right words and speaks up. 6 weeks ago, the prince told me to parley with the anarchs in the docks, remember? Yeah, and you made me tag along so that I could learn something about politics. As it turned out, politics meant something awfully similar to watching my drunken family shout at each other at the wedding party. There was this man who didn't need to shout to make my blood boil. The meanest one in the room, their leader. White hair, a monocle, must-do clothes. With this fucking Pollock cunt. Scrooge McDuck. Yeah, how could I forget? A lot of panache, old-timey bravado, and gendered insults flung my way. What was his name? Something British made me think of Hollywood. Callaghan? Baron Callaghan. Douglas Boss Callaghan. Right, it's 2020. But the man's opinions and ideas were stuck in 1920. Weren't the anarchs supposed to be the progressive option? I never understood why they put up with him. He had his ways of predicting which way the wind will blow. Anytime Cabrilla or the Sul hit the anarchs, it was the factions opposed to him that were hurt. The luckiest bastard in the world. Thought you didn't believe in luck. I don't, but it sure looks like his luck has finally run out tonight. Huh. Wait, don't tell me where the anarchs got rid of him or we're going to kill him. So what you're saying is we're headed to his office to kill him? What? Just what? No, absolutely not. S-I... Oh, sorry, yeah, second... Because it looked like an SL, and I wasn't sure. Because it didn't have, you know, It wasn't capitalized. Well, or I thought it could have been capitalized or just like an L. It looked like an L. Sorry, I'm just dense. Immensely so. Looks like I missed the mark by a mile. Even if, and that's a big if, an idea like this wasn't completely opposed to everything Prince Panhard had been doing over the past few years. His tone sounds as if he was addressing a particularly dumb child. The worst part is, I probably deserve it. There wouldn't be any need for that. The man has ceased to exist. Wait, he's what? He's dead? Deader than dead? I'm 99% sure the bastard met his final death. Omni, thank you for the bit. L. Or I. Who knows? How did you know? We've got trustworthy sources in the Anarch inner circles. Looks like all hell is about to break loose. There's an emergency meeting at the art hall. Jesus, and you're bringing me with you? Why? Because you were on the way. Because I could. Because I should. You might not be important to the members of the court, but you're still an asset to the sect. Symbolically, at least. I can justify sneaking you into the party, claiming it's for your own protection. An unexpected alliance between Big Bad Wolf and poor little Red Riding Hood. Wait a minute though. The party is still happening? I called the prince, told her the best course of action is stopping it, and started listing security protocols I have prepared for these sorts of situations. How come he has a reflection? That's a really good question, I'm just saying. Because like, whenever you play Bloodlines, you know, you never see your reflection, like, anywhere. So it just kind of became a thing, then it's like, oh yeah, you don't have a reflection. She interrupted me halfway through, and told me we will discuss the subject face to face. Doesn't sound like she was interested. The party is that important, huh? Politics. Politics is that important. I don't know if he's trying to convince me, or himself. Once again, politics sounds an awful like a bunch of party-loving arseholes shouting at each other. Don't worry. This is the kind of, how should I call it? Governing issue the likes of you and I tend to deal with. And how would you describe the governing issues we tend to deal with? You believe most vampires do have reflections in lore? Huh. I have a lot of reading to really like catch up on, like properly, so goddamn. Shoveling ourselves out of shit. Sorry, I think I hit off the microphone. Maybe the only vampire can't see his or her reflection. I know like as a Lasombra it's too hazy obviously to see because she can't see herself, and even makeup would be an issue. But they can see others' reflection. Oh, at least in vampire. Yeah, I have a lot of reading to catch up on in that case. As usual, he seems a little embarrassed for cussing, or for being too honest. Either way, it's cute. No argument here. And that's where the conversation ends. We stay silent as the car rides off towards the unknown. I'm not a New York City Baron. The Baron of New York City, if you please. Once more, a memory of an old douchebag who thought he could rule the world crosses my mind. Well, it looks like the world has left him behind. Sayonara, arsehole. And here I am, the only place I didn't expect to visit tonight. The art hall. Have I seen the Prince of... I've seen, a bit of art, like the character model, but I've not actually seen the trailer for the remake. Oh, The Sands of Time. I remember playing that like years and years ago. It was only a demo, but it was just, oh, it was so much fun. And then having the mechanic to turn back time, that was fantastic. Guessing by the sounds, the inside seems lively. Even if they know it's an emergency, they simply don't care. What are you standing around for? You still need an invitation? No idea. Do I? I think the bouncer will let you in. There's a bouncer? Yes, and he's standing right in front of you. Just start walking, whelp. And here I am. Among partying elites, it's as stuffy and boring as I expected, but hey, at least it's exclusive. The title Panhard came up with for these yearly gatherings is called Celebrations of Power, an invitation to re-examine the relationship between our undead bodies and the spaces they inhabit. You didn't get the other game, only the Sands of Time. Yeah, I didn't get anything in that series, but all the same, like, it was pretty fun for a demo. The week-long event is packaged as a sort of performance art piece, meant to make the kindred who are involved celebrate their potential, instead of despairing at their monstrous nature. We need to counter-program the omnipresent images of tragic vampirism with images that remind us that we have inherited the earth, and are now free to remake it in our image, is the way the prince put it. It's probably still the same engine, hence the 2010 graphics. You think? Is it really still that old looking? I don't know. To this end, she organizes a series of exhibits, concerts, fireworks, parties, business meetings, etc., etc. Of course, the parties and business meetings are the most important. My prince? Kadir, finally. Oh wow. The portraits are really moody, even though, you know, she looks quite, like, dazzling, I guess. The mood is so nice in these visual novels. At least in this one, and from what I've seen of coteries. A saint with angelic wings, a holy patron of New York City. I take a good look around. Half of the figures here are dressed like they're attending a masked ball. The other half are religious figures, either demonic or saintly. I have to admit, I don't fully understand the theme here. I know Panhard based it on psychomagic, a sort of shamanic psychotherapy using the power of art. Simply put, it's a holy mass and unholy mass, in equal measures, a set of rituals meant to make the participants wholeheartedly accept they're both the worst and the best this earth has to offer. Put on this mask at the very least, you're standing out. Here. I heard the aesthetic basis for this. Thank you, baby, for Okay. Thank you, Vaven, really, and welcome on in. That was quite the entrance you've made. How are you doing? And yes, curry ketchup. Thank God, like, that actually even exists. 'Cause I only made a homemade version, and it was pretty good, but it's not like the usual stuff. I mean, again, thank you for the subscribing, really. And Ubisoft took it even further and downgraded the trailer beforehand? Wait, what? How? Wait, why would they downgrade the trailer? That doesn't make any sense. It's like... why would they try to, like, undersell it? Unless it's, like, going to be that kind of bad. I don't know. Yeah, but I always like them when they look quite nice, because then you kind of know what to expect. Otherwise, you know, things like Silent Hill Downpour? When that trailer was out and it looked absolutely fantastic, and then it came out and it looked abysmal. That's kind of the logic that I've kind of built. It's like, it looks good, it's probably going to be bad, but if it comes out looking bad, it might be worse. You know? That's kind of what I think. I heard the aesthetic basis for these parties is the Black Mass in the film Eyes Wide Shut. Some think this decision means Panhard is tone deaf, but it's quite the contrary. She knows the Anarchs are constantly looking for ways to undermine her through art and rhetoric that point out glaring contradictions in her theoretically benevolent rule. But instead of denying and suppressing aesthetics designed to criticize the elites, she embraces them. Instead of risking a Streisand effect, she effectively defangs the opposition. The resistance becomes part of the system, and both the Cameron and the Anarchs get the same message. Don't think of it as a pathology. Think of it as the new normal. Oh god, everyone's telling us that now as well. Like, welcome to the new normal. Not to kind of like bring things back to real life or anything, but yikes. I'll collect the key advisors. They've already been told to come here. I don't think there's a need for us to hold the meeting in a particularly secluded place. We'll just do it over there. Are you certain? Downpour. Yeah, it was Silent Hill Downpour. You know, the one where, Murphy? Pendleton? And it's just like, Pendleton, get on the bus. And it's just like, why did you keep us waiting just to hear that? And then you can't skip any of the cutscenes and there's glitches and stuff. Yeah, that one. Absolutely. Wait, is that Miss Sovinsky I see behind you? Just let Kidir talk. I nudged Kidir to take over. I collected her on my way here because of her role as a La Sombra representative. Just say political hostage. You people have made it perfectly clear what's going to happen with my parents back in Chicago if I go against you. I realized she might become a target and decided to hide her at the art hole. Putting all my eggs in one basket will make my job easier. I will look for a safe place for her to spend the night. Let her stay with you for now, Alasme. Time is of the essence. I didn't notice him sneak up on us. Nice get up. You're gonna grab some noms and I'll be back? Yeah, sure thing. Enjoy your noms. And the system was really weird. When you had like something like an axe or like a crowbar, and then it would just break after a couple of hits. It's a crowbar, you know, crowbars don't just decide to tap out after like 3 hits. Are you absolutely sure? But of course, everything we say here is going to become an open secret in a matter of minutes. Prince Panhard has already come up with the appropriate messaging. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot an elderly vampire guiding a young, fashionable human girl toward the basement, led like a lamb to the slaughter. Best not to think too deeply about what's going on underneath this place. Before everyone gets here, I'd like to secure the perimeter. Easy now, Elasme. All of the appropriate security protocols for you are already active. Me and the prince, it should be the prince and I. For who am I to judge, quite frankly? Pull some strings as well. The situation is mostly under control. Yeah, why does he look like Sherlock Holmes? You know, but from the show or whatever? I haven't watched it, but everyone kind of knows the guy anyway. Battlefield Overwatch? I don't understand the reference, sorry. Mostly under control. Never let anyone sleep any easier. Oop. Elasme, I know that the prince's sword, you're aching for blood, but you have to accept that. Like most weapons known to men, you're most effective hidden in the sheath. Listen here now. Looks like a fascinating philosophical discussion in the making, but sadly, I'm forced to interrupt. Prince Panhard? All of a sudden, Samira appears between the two men, her calm and collected voice completely changing the atmosphere, as expected for a self-professed protector of the peace. Samira, I hope you're enjoying yourself. To be quite honest, I feel out of place. She nods and smiles at me, probably to signal she takes solace in not being the only person in the room who feels like a fish out of water. We all call him... Oh, Bennett? Yeah, it's like Cumberbatch or something, but it's like... What was it? I just called him Cucumber. Because I didn't know what else. It's just like, what's his last name? But it sounds kind of like Cucumber, so I just, yeah, I called him that. And then I forgot it completely. Well. We call him Battlefield Overwatch as a meme. Oh, okay. Fair enough in that case. Especially now, seeing as I heard this meeting is meant for those of greater stature than mine. Nonsense, we have delicate matter to discuss. One that might require severe judgment down the road. I think you understand why I wish for a child of Hakim to be involved. Of course. What is it with that expression on your face, Kadir? He quickly collects himself. Look who's joining us. The High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, Lady Aisling Sturbridge, walks up to her group in an outfit I would have never imagined her in, pretending everything is par for the course. Good lord, what is she dressed in? I mean, it looks snazzy, but what's with the horns? I mean, they're kind of cute. But I don't know, it doesn't blend in. Prince Banhart, the sheriff, the harpy, the Banu Hakim Primogen. Are we still waiting for someone? He's almost here. Shining even more brightly than usual, Aisling. I adore your outfit, Samira. Wish the prince allowed the same amount of effort for me. I, for one, am glad she didn't. I particularly love those horns. Thank you for reminding me. I put them on at the prince's behest, but I believe she's had more than enough fun. No, not yet. Ah, well, this will do for now. But you're not off the hook yet. I paid a costly price to see you like this. Both Kadir's and the prince's voices are strained whenever they tempt humor. Their minds are obviously elsewhere, and it's not a happy place. Arturo, on the other hand, seems calm. We all celebrate our power in different ways, I suppose. Now, what's this about? Just a moment. Over here, Addison. The Camarilla's infamous spokesman approaches, pushed towards us in a wheelchair by his servant. Helene, everyone, I certainly hope this is something important. What a commanding tone. Seeing as Payne can't communicate, normally his servant relays his words to us instead. And he's posh and snobby enough to make me believe I'm listening to his master's voice. Carter won't be joining us. He gave me a fair warning he might not make it tonight. I've messaged him the details. I'll have to find time to meet him later then. Finding time, searching for lost time. I swear it's all I do nowadays, and there's never enough. She looks like a girl from the Addams family. You think? I don't know, she looks kind of more serious, I guess, than... But I can see where that actually comes from. I like it though. And Lord knows the Addams... You know, what's her name? Wednesday. The Wednesday Addams dress has never gone out of fashion since like 2017. I'm so tired of seeing that damn collar everywhere. I guess now you understand why I insisted that this event must last all week. So many esteemed guests, many of them from out of town, each deserving at least a few hours. And the figure in the wheelchair waves his hand impatiently. Can you give me a discount? Sure. Yes, let's just cut to the chase now, shall we? That might be the wisest course of action. My prince? Arturo. My prince, everyone, let me begin by stressing these important... Oh, that's a lot. These important points. The situation is largely under control, the negotiations are underway, and the situation is more tense than dangerous. We are safe. Let me repeat, we are safe. And with that out of the way, here's the big news. Baron Callahan, de facto leader of the Anarchs in New York City, met his final death in his office tonight. Yeah, he's a cucumber batch. How did you find out? We have a good friend near his office. Their intel is as accurate as it gets. We've also established a negotiation channel with the Anarchs. They give us all the confirmation we needed. Was our court involved in his destruction? I look at her in disbelief. So does everyone else. Not that the same thought hasn't passed through my head, but to simply exclaim it like that. Oh, spare me the virtue signaling. I thought we were being transparent here. I don't give a damn if we took care of Callahan or not. I just want to have a clear idea of what I'm dealing with. Yes, a clear answer. I need that too. To my knowledge, none of us present here ordered his destruction, nor did we participate in it. Unless someone wants to confess, it's now or never. Of course, no one speaks up. Arturo pretends to clear his throat. That's our official position as well. The Camarilla's ruling body has nothing to do with it. And for all intents and purposes, his anarch contenders had more interest in removing him than we did. That interest is sure to manifest in one way now. His former enemies will prop him up as a martyr for the cause. Yes, which is why we sadly can't just leave the Anarchs to their own devices. As much as we'd like to avoid recognizing their sect in any way, We've offered to assist them in an official investigation. Addison Payne's wrinkled face contorts slightly. Let me just ask you one question. You do realize those curs have no respect for our traditions, yeah? We do, Addison. But as a veteran politician, you should be deeply familiar with the words controlled opposition. Yes, for now, it's impossible to fully contain the anarch threat in New York. For now, our only option is to prop up a candidate who will offer the least resistance to our future plans for the city. The fallout negotiations are very high Q. Basically just put a bomb in their pocket and just walk away, I guess. Like, take a turn or two, let it explode. We extend our hand to the most promising contender, giving him a way to present himself as a diplomat. A man of reasonable compromise. The rabble falls in line, and purists grow angry and alienated. We've already contacted the best possible person in their sect. He will oversee the investigation, and it's in his best interest to show he is able to resolve the situation calmly. Is that good enough? Addison ponders the question for a while, then waves his hand again. It is. Proceed. Funny thing, nobody's paying any attention to me right now. Keep in mind, Mr. Payne, our man's people will still barely tolerate us, and the situation is volatile. The other factions within that sorry excuse for our sect might still try to escalate the conflict. I will do my best to solve the situation as fast as possible. How so? Kadir is momentarily taken aback by Artura's question. I volunteered to coordinate the case with the Anarchs, of course. I refuse. You have more important duties to focus on. Once more, Kadir is stunned. All due respect, Prince, but if you don't consider me capable of tackling this issue and attending to my usual duties at the same time, I think you gravely underestimate me. Your penchant for working yourself to the bone is well known and appreciated by everyone in this room, Sheriff, but so is your perfectionism. If we do grant your wish and let you investigate while still fulfilling your routine obligations, can you guarantee you're going to give both these tasks your best? I can guarantee something very close to my best. Close to your best doesn't cut it, Alisme. Not while the vultures are out in force. Callahan's destruction is sure to cause unrest among the Anarchs, and there's an obvious outlet for their pent-up rage. I want to make this perfectly clear. The celebrations will continue as planned, no matter what. This is why your presence here is absolutely necessary, Sheriff. We rely on your constant protection. Of course, my prince, we must be on constant vigil for a few days. Alisme's sword will be constantly pointed at the enemy surrounding us. Must be. The timing of the Baron's destruction is impeccable. The Anarch leaders are sure to point at us and claim we're shamelessly celebrating his end. Does anybody believe it is just coincidence? Murders are messy, almost as messy as politics. It's impossible to reliably predict the outcome of any violent action. I think it'd be wise of us to brace for a lot of unfortunate coincidences, Aisling. In any case, the rabble can't get the impression that their power struggles are of great concern to us, but they also can't think that we have something to hide, which brings me to my point. We do need a symbolic gesture, one displaying expertly measured intensity. My best bet is the humble diplomatic envoy, a low-level official, aka me, or character. Official acting as an investigator of sorts. I implore you, Prince. Kadir. He bites his tongue and struggles to collect himself. I rarely see him lose his temper, at least where the camera is involved. What's going on? I wonder about your suggestion for this role. After all, it's not particularly prestigious, but carries a lot of responsibility. We're still talking about a Camarilla representative. Oh, I think there's a very obvious candidate. Both he and Kadir look at me simultaneously. Everyone else in the room does too. No, wait a second, he can't possibly mean... Miss Julia, once again your full name eludes me at the moment. Am I allowed to speak? Or maybe I should wait for permission before I make my mind? The sheriff sighs deeply and speaks up. Savinsky? Miss Julia Savinsky, right. I understand you used to be an investigative journalist before your embrace. That's correct. That's correct. Among others, the Banu Hakim Primogen insisted that you were worthy of greater privileges and should be— Fuck you. Oh, screw this Arturo guy. He's just setting us up to be, like, given the final death. What a dick. Samira measures Arturo with suspicion. I think all of us would, to be quite fair. Just a second. There we go, much more comfortable. Sorry, I just had to shift myself on my chair because, you know, it's kind of been almost 3 hours. Yeah, Bloodlines 2 is looking really weird at the moment, isn't it? Samira measures Arturo with suspicion. Yes. Do you still think she's capable? She looks me deep in the eye. I swear she's telepathically trying to tell me, please, please, please don't fuck this up, you dumbass little white girl. Of course. Good. And I'm sure that you, Elisme, will have no problem with your protege embarking on this mission. Save for the pain her mother feels when watching her child leave the nest. Whether I do or don't is not particularly important right now, is it? It absolutely is. Panhard's backing of Arturo momentarily blindsides him. Yeah, what is she doing backing him up of all people? Prince Panhard, if Arturo's plan is reckless, I want you to tell me. I need a simple yes or no answer. Is the girl capable? Now he knows he's left with no choice. I wouldn't entrust her with all the responsibilities that I have if she wasn't. He exchanges glances with me, but his look is different than Samira's. It's as if he's trying to apologize to me. Here we are then. A recommendation from the Banu Hakim Primogen and the sheriff. To tell you the truth, I was just throwing out ideas. But with this backing, screw this guy. This guy is such a dick. I can't doubt the Night Clan's representative will get the job done. And certain each of us feels the same, Mr. Payne. The atmosphere in the room mostly suggests people are glad they don't have to discuss the topic further. A shrug here, and a averted gaze there. It is as you say. I will watch the way she handles this situation with great interest. Oh, I'm sure they all will. They'll be just looking to see how long I last before the final death. Well then, Miss Savinsky, looks like you've got your chance for a big break. I have conditions. I don't think you're really in the position to make demands here, madam. Yeah, just point me in the right direction and tell me what to do. No point in pretending I have a choice here, is there? Excellent. That leaves us with only one more matter, which I hope we can agree on. Prince Panhard signals someone with their hand. The figure emerges from behind the corner. Good evening. Catherine, what a pleasant surprise. Nobody informed us you were in town. Addison, looking healthier than ever. And what does visa have to do with it? We need an impartial observer, who everyone respects. That's kind of funny, yeah. And as it happens, Catherine always knew how to make friends on both sides without angering either. I beg to differ. I'd be grateful if, just for once, you decided against throwing a tantrum about me, High Regent. A painful grimace crosses Aisling's face, but she is quick to interpret the taunt as an invitation to a game she can't possibly win. As long as she can prove herself useful to the proceedings in some way. If half of what I heard about her from Mr. van der Weyden is true, she should be able to. And what did poor Carter say about me this time? Nothing specific. One always has to read between the lines with him, but it was mostly envy. Miss Visa gracefully... oh, damn it. Sorry. Miss Visa gracefully agreed to mediate between the Anarch representative and the Lazomba representative, ensuring mutual cooperation and mitigating potential conflicts. That felt like a Freudian slip. Representative. A Lazomba representative and not Camarilla. Camarilla representative, i.e. someone who can be catapulted from the sect without much damage to the ivory tower if they mess up. Is there a meeting set up? Arturo looks at the clock on the other side of the room. In less than an hour. You better hurry then. What the hell? All of this is happening so fast. If the situation is indeed under control, I will drive her and oversee the situation. Out of the question, you've got your orders, Sheriff. Attend to those. You fool, the girl needs guidance. And we need yours. Nobody knows what might happen next. But it's not as if the Anarchs have a lot of love for you, Alisme. You're too efficient in your duties for them to tolerate you. Sorry, I'm after hitting off the microphone. Better spare Miss Savinsky having them see you two together. Do you think my guidance of Julie will be lacking, Kadir? I never said that. So do you have any objections to putting her under my care? He lowers his gaze but seems reassured. None whatsoever. That's all I needed to hear. We'll be going then. Wasting no time as usual, I see. Have you at least tried the aperitifs? Waiting is an old person's game, Helene. I still feel young. Remember, if there's anything you need help with, probably not, but I appreciate the thought nevertheless. Have a great night, everyone. I'll catch up with you later, Addison. I certainly hope you do. And so we leave, in a rush. Funny, considering what she told me about being in a hurry yesterday. We're here. She thanks the chauffeur and lets me out of the car into a quiet neighborhood, somewhere in Queens. Seemed like you were in a rush. I couldn't stand the crowd. She's honest, probably performatively so, just to get into Michael Grace's. Well, it's working. And why is that? In my experience, gatherings like those always enable a boring pack mentality. All the familiar lies we tell ourselves to justify lusting for more, repeated ad nauseum. What lies are you telling yourself? I could ask her for guidance, actually. I'm kind of considering that. But at the same time, it's not like you can trust other vampires anyway. You can only really trust yourself. But even stating that, it's not like we have much knowledge to begin with. I could just be like, you know, buddy, hey, you know, what are you telling yourself? But, I think I'll go 3. No time for philosophizing. Good God, I just keep stumbling over my words. I need help now. Back at the Yartle, you said something about guiding me, but I have zero idea what to do. None whatsoever. I had a few necessary arrangements to make sure over the phone before we got here to ensure your pretty little head stays attached to your neck. For now, anyway. I am grateful, but I still feel way out of my depth. I need to know what to do. You used to make a living as an investigative journalist, did you not? Investigate the murder. In TV shows where an investigative journalist gets too close to the heart of a politically incendiary case, it rarely goes well. A cat's head on their porch, a bullet to the head. So were you afraid you might be a pawn in a game you don't understand? That your elders consider you a disposable asset? That a single wrong move might cost you more than everything you hold dear? That sounds about right, yeah? Well, by the sound of it, you understand your situation perfectly. Don't belittle me, I need your advice. Be anything you want, but don't be boring, Julia. If I wanted to belittle you, I would have drowned you in platitudes long ago. Know thyself, believe in your strength, trust no one, act confident, Turn the chessboard around and read your opponent's mind. Read Sun Tzu and quote him incessantly. Say, do you feel any better now? Can I ask you something? Seeing as Mia's still not here? Of course. Do you know who killed Baron Callahan? I haven't the slightest idea. Were you emotionally impacted by his death? Not at all. Did you know him? Only passingly, I'm afraid. I expected him to perish sooner than later, so I never bothered to improve our relationship. Yeah, Sun Tzu of all things to be quoting from. Why are you helping me? Am I? That remains to be seen. What do you mean? You do not want a painfully honest answer. But I do. She stares me down. Her irreverent tone makes it impossible to guess what she's feeling, even more so than the mask. When I look at you, I see someone pitiful. Someone whose hunger is purely biological. Just an animalistic rush. When I saw a burgeoning plan to put you in a situation that is way beyond your capabilities, I offered my help. I was curious to see your true colors reveal themselves firsthand. When everything is said and done, and Callahan's killers pointed out, you will be a whimpering animal or a victor, taking the spoils. I cannot wait to find out. I don't know what to say. Is she provoking me, or... Mia should be here any second. You have time for one more question. What makes you important to us, Mia, and why are you hiding your face? I hope I'm not being rude, but is there a reason you keep your face hidden? Oh, I chose the wrong answer, didn't I? Yes, there is a reason, and yes, you are being rude. Sorry, just curious. I understand, but let's just say I prefer everyone to come up with their own theories. The more stories they'll invent, the less relevant the truth will be. But anyway, here's Mia. A woman around my age emerges from around the corner of the street. She doesn't at all look imposing or threatening, no. The only thing that's missing is, like, you know, leather gloves, I think. I've never met her before, but if I had to describe in 2 words by her aura alone, I guess those words would be permanently angry. Even more so than your average anarch. You must be Catherine Beeson. And you must be Mia Morgan. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance. The pleasure's mutual. This your girl? Julia Savinsky, the La Sombra Primogen. La Sombra representative. I correct her automatically. At this point, it's a habit. Good. If you were a Primogen, I might have tried to kill you here and now. Is Torque still on the site? Nah, I told him to take it from here. I'd take him from here. By the end of tonight, he needs to look like a natural candidate for the leader of the NYC Anarchs. It's not going to take a lot of driving around and negotiations. How did he react to finding Callahan's remains? He hasn't exactly elaborated on his feelings, but I expect he reacted the same way every true believer in the cause did. If this complicated mess of all the possibilities feeling... What? It's this complicated mess of all the possible feelings under the moon. So he was the first one who was the first one to the murder site? Oh, you're already calling it a murder site? Does the Ivory Tower know something we don't? It's not the official position, but I expect a lot of them think it's the Torque who stood to benefit the most from the boss's death. And it sounds like he's quick to jump on new opportunities. You don't know him? Yes, but I'd love to meet him and ask him some questions, especially if he was the one who found the body. Well, if you're meeting Torque at all, it won't be tonight. He's too busy. I was assigned to investigate. I won't be able to do it properly if I'm not able to question a key witness. I'll arrange for him to see you this week. This week? Aren't the tensions a little too high for delaying an investigation like this? Well, Torque's work is our best shot on making sure they won't get higher, so boo fucking who. I'm his right-hand woman, though. You got any questions? Direct them to me. Maybe the two of you should head to Callahan's office. The discussion here does not seem to be going in the right direction, nor in a particularly interesting one. You're not coming? Torque, and you are not the only ones who have their work cut out for them tonight. I trust you can take it from here. And Mia, be easy on her. In slightly different circumstances, I expect the two of you would have ended up on the same side of the barricades. Uh-huh. Take care. She heads back to her vehicle. Well, follow me. I'll show you to his place. It's a 19th century style office. Classical, wooden, smelly. The stuffy air of books, old furniture, and dust covers much of the fragrance of decay. But not all of it. This is the first time I've ever seen the remains of a vampire who has met the final death. I heard stories of really old kindred crumbling to dust, but that's an exaggeration. At least it didn't happen here. When kindred die, time catches up with them. If you offed me right now, I'd probably turn into an ugly, leaky corpse. But Callahan was over a century old. It's like looking at a dapper mummy. A desiccated body in a heap of musty clothes, all that was left of the mighty boss Douglas Callahan, Anarch Baron of New York City. If that's really him. Needless to say, it might be a little hard to establish the time or the cause. Time of death or the cause, especially as the garb doesn't have any obvious damage. If it doesn't have any obvious damage, then I don't know. What a great place to start. Have you already found anything suspicious? Nothing you don't see in front of you. Uh-huh. This door is the only point of entry to the room, right? Yeah, unless you count the windows, but nobody except for Callan knew how to operate those, and they don't let air or light through. Metal blinders on the windows facing east, the only modern element of the room sticking out like a sore thumb. They look automated. Was the door open when Torque got here? Well, that's the one suspicious thing. It wasn't. It's as if Callahan locked himself in from the inside. A closed room murder. Huh. There's some glass scattered on the floor. I point at it. Could that be from the window? I checked it from the outside. It's in perfect condition. So what's this glass? I have no idea. Why does it seem like she has her suspicions but is remaining uncooperative just because of fuck off cameraless scum? I checked the next point of interest. A wall safe. Surprisingly large. I play with the lock a bit. What's the combination? It's Callahan's. What makes you think I know? At least I tried. A desk with nothing but an envelope on it. Nothing inside. I check all the drawers. Every single one of them has been thoroughly emptied. I don't know what I expected. Is this how the Anarchs go about securing crime scenes? Were these emptied before Torque arrived? I don't know, but I wouldn't accuse him of tampering with evidence if I were you. Well, thank you. The decor of the room is pretty minimal, so there's not a lot of points of interest that could illuminate the case. I start getting nervous. I point at the painting on the wall. Of course you have no idea who that is. Callahan's ancestor, I guess. I'm out of ideas. Everything I look at feels like another dead end. I'm frustrated. I feel as if I failed this investigation before it's even started. There must be something more. I start walking around, trying to find a single clue. Mia just watches me indifferently. Give me anything. Anything, god damn it. Anything. A shadow blinks in and out of existence near Callahan's remains. I freeze in place. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of me. The only thing I'm afraid of is you wasting too much of my time. Doesn't seem like Mia noticed it. Just give me a moment more. She groans under her nose and goes back to messaging someone on her phone. When she does, the shadow appears again. Once again, blink in, blink out. Could something be there? I approach the clothes and start searching them for a clue. Maybe they missed something. Getting desperate, huh? Just being thorough. We've searched the bastard like 3 times, he had nothing of interest on him. How about this? A small card, barely noticeable, looking a bit like a shopping list, is shoved deep into an almost invisible hole in the fabric. I take it out and show it to Mia. Huh? Didn't plant that there, did you? No. Did you? Shove off. What's on it? It's a list of 4 names. D'Angelo, Hope, Agathon, Tamika. Any idea what this is about? Beats me. She's lying. But I don't care. Tomorrow night I'll meet up with Kadir and ask him to help me figure it out. Think I'm done here. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Guess she sees me as nothing more but an empty enemy agent. What would an empty agent even be? When will I get to meet with Torque? If, and that's a big if he will agree to meet you on a one-to-one basis, Catherine will let you know. He probably won't let a loyal Camarilla lapdog like you see him without her oversight anyway. A Camarilla lapdog, huh? It's a risky play, of course, and might backfire, but maybe a benefit if I put my loyalty to the court into question. Oh, damn it, I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't know if I should really... Oh, god damn it. By the way, we haven't even found out who turned us, did we? They had red glowing eyes, but at the same time, goddamn, I don't know. You know, in the world of darkness, if you're in a bar late at night and some Chinese guy comes out and insistently demands that you read The Art of War, it could very well be the author. I like to think that they've embraced Edgar Allan Poe too. I mean, to be fair, you're probably onto something. I really don't know. God damn it, what do I do? Does it even matter? I mean, eventually I'm gonna have to question things anyway, aren't I? Not worth it. Playing for both sides sounds like a recipe for trouble. Just too risky and stressful. Pass. I see. Well, have a good night. It's getting late. Or early, depending on how you look at it. Once I leave Kellen's office, I head straight to Dakota's apartment. I tried to sneak by to my room, but she's up waiting for me. How was your night? Shit. Tomorrow. What happened? You look like something the cat dragged in. Tomorrow, I promise. But I'm worried. Don't be. Tomorrow. She gives me a concerned look, then closes her eyes, slumps her shoulders, and frowns. Alright. You're the best. I reach my pitch-black room and throw myself on the bed. The responsibilities, the stakes, the way I always feel too slow to react properly in these situations. I don't want to think. I want to turn off my brain. I want to drift into the void. Into the void, into the void, into the void. Oh wait, oh, I need to rest. Okay. You've received your final trait. Some choices in the game will push Julia towards different ways of thinking, which will have a lasting effect on her throughout the story. You will see a brief pop-up on the top of the screen at any time that you receive a new trait. You can always view any unlocked traits on the log screen, accessed through the top left icon. Remember that ruthlessness is the mark of a true Lasombra, but you might walk another path before reaching that destination. I'm not sure. I was told you'd make it big. Get real. These arseholes are just using me as a pawn in some stupid 4th-dimensional chess game. As opposed to just keeping you off the chessboard. Don't be a glass-half-empty buzzkill. Watch them make me a scapegoat or something. That would be exciting. I would write a book about living in with a 21st century Lee Harvey Oswald. Come on, don't even joke about that. I haven't killed anyone. Julia, honey, neither did Oswald. Yeah, right. I keep forgetting. Stop wriggling or I'll mess up your face. Sorry. Mo's obedient when she's busy working on my makeup. It's hard to take care of your appearance, especially especially your face when you can't even see yourself in the mirror. Not that I've ever been particularly good at it, but Dakota doesn't seem to mind. I'm her goth dress-up doll. Her presence in my own life is one of the few good things that my sire provided for me before fucking off to Chicago. Normally I'd be told to find myself a ghoul, but many of our clan, myself included, finds the idea of ghouls distasteful. We're cat people, not dog people. We don't want mindlessly faithful servants. We want companions who rely on us, despite having, in theory anyway, the free will not to. The kind of relationship I have with Dakota would normally be a breach of the Masquerade's rules, but the rules are different for kindred who are Campbell adjacent, even losers like me. Simplifying here, but my sire made it clear that her child would not own slaves, and that was the end of the discussion. To be honest, I think the court mostly agreed to that request, because they wanted one more thing to blackmail me with, just in case. What would you do in my place? If I had to investigate your elite's wrongdoings? Yeah. I'd probably look for those rich fucks' pedophile rings. Look for the assholes who mention pizza suspiciously often. See who has powerful friends in Manhattan jails, stuff like that. Oh, come on. Now, I'm serious. Search for the deep rot, and a lot of the smaller crimes will get solved in the process. What is it with you and conspiracy theories? What do you mean? You just told me your bosses are having eyes wide shut parties and suddenly you don't believe in rich people's pedophile rings? I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. My point is, you act as if it's all conspiracy theories are real. As if all the conspiracy theories are real. Like you can't possibly believe all that shit. Half of it doesn't even make sense. Well... You want an interesting answer or a real answer? The real answer will be the more interesting one. She removes her brush from my face and gathers her thoughts. Everyone's lost nowadays. Just look at the world. It's drowning in facts that fail to cohere into a single convincing narrative. Or a story that resonates. I don't know why I gave her this voice. The corporate media wants you to believe in empirical thinking, but it always fails to deliver moral or metaphysical truths, and the people desperately lack those. So what do? They turn to conspiracists, and suddenly they are able to navigate the world. And why is that? Because conspiracy theories give them emotional truths that serve as a compass. Is Bill Gates trying to insert satanic microchips into my body? Probably not. I hope not. No, is he a terrible person? No idea. But there is an ample evidence that that might be the case. It's in his ruthless business strategies. But the company used to keep the philosophies he follows. Please give her another voice. I don't know. Oh, thank you for the bit though. I really don't know what to do. Which voice to give her. Okay, people look at him and feel like he's fishy. So when the media present him as a genius or a savior and I post that he wants to put the mark of the beast in my body, they choose to believe me. Because it makes moral, emotional, and metaphysical sense to them. And ultimately, that's what matters the most. The end. I don't really know what to say in response to that, but I don't believe in these wild conspiracy theories. I could say either yes, no, or maybe. I don't know. I guess I'll go with the middle ground. I don't know if I want to engage with the contents of this rant too deeply. You came up with this monologue yourself? Oh no, I read on Facebook. Oh, figures. But just to make sure, vaccines are okay? Well, as far as I know, they don't cause autism. Good to hear. Anywho, I'm done. You're the best. Yeah, considering how many times I've done makeup on a dead body, I probably have enough job experience to be a mortician by now. Now that sounds like an exciting career, but in reality, it's probably the most boring thing under the sun. Oh really? You wanted me to go for 2? Oh, damn it, sorry dog. Thanks for the bit, Omni. She sounds like a dingbat leprechaun trying to hide her pot of gold and trying to find the battery. Very funny. Yeah, I like my corpses talkative, pouty, and self-loathing. Shut up. This carcass will be leaving now. It's got a job to do. Go get him, Tiger. First thing I need to do, meet up with Kadir tonight and report to him. I hope he knows how to guide me out of this mess. He should have time for me in an hour or 2. In the meantime, I suppose it's time to find some... what's the most dehumanizing word I could find here? Nourishment. Kadir told me I need to quench my hunger less often if I didn't smoke. It kills you, he said. But to start killing itself, your organism must pretend it's alive, and that uses up precious vitae. But I love cigarettes. The way they smell, the way they burn, the hot ash falling from the top, the sound of the lighter. And the way they kill you, of course. And I guess I need some tactile connection to who I was back when I was alive. Okay, New York City. Guide my steps. Show me which one of your children I should drink up tonight. Oh really? So, okay. I thought we were going to be able to search the other outlet as well. I didn't know that when we pass one night, that's it, you know, that's the cut-off point. Because I didn't do that before. Okay, we saw her in the club, I'm pretty sure. Or was she blonde? I can't remember. Divas the Night. A fitting name for a kiss addict audacious enough to openly pitch her unique taste to those in the know. I'm not in a clubbing mood, but since I need to feed, might as well give that rumor a shot. I mean, it doesn't sound like a half-bad idea. And Samira's asking me to meet her. If not for the ongoing celebrations, the patrician would prove an odd choice for a secret rendezvous. Here's hoping she can provide some useful insight into the case. Okay, pretty much we're gonna be doing all of these, I'm sure. The note left at my old dead drop point reads, Bunny as a reporter. Shit, could it be Woods? Long time no see. What does one do when the ghost of Christmas past knocks on their door? I'm not sure. But given that it's been like 3.5 hours, and we've just finished the tutorial, which was over 2 hours long. I'm not sure on what game, how many games do that, but this was one of them. So I think it would be nice to kind of, you know, call it a night here. That was the that was the tutorial. That was a 2-hour tutorial. My god. But yeah, we didn't really do much in the tutorial either, did we? It kind of felt like just a regular game. We didn't learn too much, like we have a lot in the dictionary to kind of go through. And I don't want to go through all of it, I just kind of want to go through some things that, you know, wouldn't really be common knowledge. Like, what's a harpy? A kindred gossiper, master extraordinaire, will often trade their wisdom for favours or political gain. While harpy originated as an insult, some have taken the term back and wear it as a badge of pride. After all, who doesn't need a friend who has dirt on everyone? But yeah, a visual novel with a tutorial. That is a new one, quite frankly. But yeah, I'm just gonna call it a night here. It's been 3.5 hours, and I think getting past the tutorial was quite nice. At least. Wait, what? Oh, we're on night 5. Oh, okay. But yeah, it's a moody but interesting main menu as well, I think. But yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you as well for the subscription Faven and Omni for all the bits, and everyone else just being here in general. It was a lot of fun. I'd like to continue this again. I might just take a little break from doing the Final Nights mod, just because it is kind of getting a little bit tedious, and at this stage I'd like to kind of, you know, put it to bed only temporarily, because we haven't even gotten halfway yet. So yeah, that'll be in the works. I might do this tomorrow though. But yeah, take care of yourselves, and hopefully you can enjoy the start of your weekend. So yeah, just enjoy the rest of your Friday, whether it's the daytime or the night, wherever you may be. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow maybe. Take care of yourselves, and yeah,